What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another deadline stream. Welcome to the double game week, the biggest double game week of the season, game week 36. This is the deadline stream. We have about 3 hours to go, so it's gonna be a monster stream. It's probably gonna be the longest stream of the season, and we'll see where we go. We'll see. I think there's a lot to talk about in terms of what you guys will do, what we specifically are doing for this particular week. Of course, as you can see on the screen, our free hit is active. I don't think so. A lot of people probably expected it. I don't think so. I expected it. So I'll probably, run down the reason in terms of why am I going for this free hit. I also have a bench boost available first of all, but we'll probably talk about all of that stuff a little later. Welcome to the stream. I hope you've had a good rest. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're ready to kind of make the final stride towards, getting your best possible rank. 100k, 1 million, 500k, top 10k, 1k, whatever your rank or your goal is. Let's try to get there. Let's try to get you to that particular space, particular spot. And of course, we also have to do a lot of catch up because our rank has been plummeting, over the past few weeks. It's been really, really bad. It's been really horrible. Whatever bad or whatever worse could go or could have gone, I think that's already gone. And I think it's a huge week. I think this is it, right? This is make or break. This is the final game week where we can actually make up a lot of places because I think 37. Of course, there'll be a lot of people using free hits and all of that stuff, but I don't think so. There's that massive of an upside with certain teams having double game weeks, which are not that strong, right? So this is it. This is the game week. Let's hope we are able to crack this through together, and we come out on the right side. It's been a few red arrows now over the past couple of weeks. Few weeks in fact. Now let's try to change that through this stream. I'm on a free hit. This is more or less what I have in mind in terms of my team. I also have a couple of doubts, so I'll probably discuss those with you as well. But welcome again to all of you. Get your favorite beverage, sit tight. I think it's going to be a long one. Of course, there's a lot to discuss, and I'll be really, really glad and very, very pleased if you can say or comment or ask as many questions as you can or as you want to, because I think that'll really help me as well as a lot of people on this stream today. Another small request, guys, if you're new around here, if you've come here for the first time, of course we do this on a weekly basis. We've been doing this for the whole year now, and we are almost on the verge of getting to those 1,000 subscribers, guys. Very, very close now to 1,000 subscribers. So help us get there, help us get to that 1,000 subscribers mark. I think that'll be really, really awesome. Hey Nigel, hello to you. Welcome to the long stream that we have today. Hey guy, hi to you as well. Thank you so much for the epic intro. Hi to John as well. I hope I've pronounced that name right. 36 bench boost, 37 free hit. That was my first plan. I don't think so. Probably it's going to be that anymore because the free hit is already active. I can't cancel it. There are multiple reasons behind it. We'll talk about it a little bit in detail, probably a little later. But we'll just quickly say hello to everybody now. Crean to Richarlison and Cody to Laporte for a -4. I think I'll do it. Richarlison has a great... I think he has a decent game week this week. The fixtures are okay. The teams that he's facing are absolutely okay. It's just that I'm not very convinced because I think both the fixtures are away fixtures for Everton. We'll quickly check it. But as far as I remember, both fixtures, yeah, it's Leicester and Watford. Again, Leicester, they concede a lot of goals. They concede a lot of set-piece goals. So there are chances for maybe, an Everton defender getting in head on some balls, maybe getting a goal like that. We know that Richarlison is Everton's best player at the moment. He's their best attacker. He's on penalties as well. There were a lot of, rumors around him getting probably banned for 3 matches and all that stuff. Nothing of that sort has happened. There's a mark. I think there's still a yellow mark on his name in the FPL, on the FPL side, on the official FPL side. But I think he was pictured in training. I think he's gonna play, so I think he should be okay. So Kane to Richarlison is a good downgrade. I don't think so. It's a bad option or a bad move. Cody to Laporte, I think again is a massive upgrade because Wolves are absolutely plummeting at the moment. I mean, I was reading their stats for the past few weeks, and they have just gone. I mean, they're not bottom, but they have absolutely tanked. And I think this is a really good time to kind of target a Wolves team if you are an attacker, right? Earlier we used to take the defenders that their defenders will keep clean sheets and we'll get a lot of points. I missed out on a few points, etc. But I think it's a good option. It's a good move. For a -4, I think I'll definitely do it. Again, I'm not sure what kind of chips you have left and all of that stuff, but I think in general, if I look at this option in isolation, I think Kane to Richarlison and then Cody to Laporte, I think it's a good move. I think you should do it. Nigel, you've shared your team. It's Trent, Matip, Cancelo, James, Salah, Gordon, Saka, Kulusevski, Dewsbury Hall. Among your forwards, you have Kane. On your bench, you have Ramsdale, Broha, Weghorst, Shah. zero point 0.6 million in the bank. Point 0.4 -4 for Shah to Ake. I mean, I understand the move to Ake, and I'm not saying that he's not gonna get minutes. I think he will get minutes. I'm just a little tad bit worried about him maybe starting both games. I'm not very sure there. So that's I understand because the budget might be an issue here, so you might not be able to go to a Laporte, for example. I think Stones is injured mostly, and uh, all the other defenders, a Cancelo, etc., all of those players are on the higher side. Of course, you have Cancelo in your team, but I mean, it's a risk. It's a massive risk, and let's see. I mean, let's hope that he plays. But yeah, I mean, Ake, I'm not too sure. I can maybe be a little bit more confident about the likes of Cancelo, maybe even Laporte and Diaz, but I still feel Zinchenko is the part of that, stronger lineup. And I think over the next set of games, even if you talk about these two games in the double game week, I think, Zinchenko and Cancelo are the ones who are probably going to play as City's fullbacks. And I think Ake is probably going to, he's probably starts one game, but I personally don't think he starts both. Bench boost active. I mean, it's a decent bench boost. It's Broha, Ramsdale, Broha. I think Ramsdale has a decent double. Broha is okay. Hasn't done anything for any of us, I think, for most of the season. I can say the same thing for Adams, and I was so happy. In fact, I'll just tell you what I was going through when I was, taking this particular transfer move, because I also had Adams in my team, and I was so happy taking him out because he's absolutely been crap, absolutely been shit, and he's not done anything, right? I mean, I've invested so much money. He's probably six and a half, something like that. An absolute garbage of a pick. Definitely. Again, I'm not going to sidetrack myself into what's going to happen next season, but yeah, this season has been a disaster. But I think in general, Broha, Weghorst, Shah again, he's not trained, so will he play? And that too against Man City. That was my worry, right? Again, my bench boost is more or less the same, right? I have a very similar bench boost, and it's gonna be same next week because this week I'm kind of hiding behind the free hit. Next week it's not gonna happen. I probably will play. I might even play in the last week. Gaming 38 is also an option, and I'll probably talk about it. But yeah, it's not the ideal bench boost if you know what I mean, but I think it's decent. I personally feel I should have played it a little bit sooner than right now, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about our learnings maybe in a different on a different stream. Hello to you, XL2 Gaming 11. I hope I got that right. If I absolutely murdered it, please let me know in the comments. Brian, you're saying that do you prefer Nketiah or Richarlison? I'm free hitting in 37. Also, would you do Ramsdale to Edison for a hit? I mean, you generally don't like to do keeper transfers when they are for a hit. But when you talk about Edison, I think Edison's the most nailed option probably in the Man City lineup. I think Cancelo is probably someone similar, but I don't think so. Edison or Stefan is gonna get any opportunities in that City lineup, especially now when City don't have anything to play. Right? I mean, they have to win the Premier League, otherwise it's a bad season. And of course, a lot of other things can happen. But I think Edison plays. So it's a good move getting Edison because he's nailed. I think there are clean sheet potential, or there is clean sheet potential in that Man City backline or in those Man City fixtures. Personally, I just feel I would rather than going for an Edison, I'd probably just go for a Man City defender because the upside with let's say a Laporte or a Diaz, for example, is slightly higher, right? More often than not, you'll probably get a Edison who gets you 6 points, maybe magically he gets you an assist. That's not going to happen every week. Most of the weeks, don't even dream about it. But I generally feel that there is slightly higher upside with somebody like a Diaz. Maybe they get a header goal. Maybe they get a set piece goal. Diaz has been, I think he's got 4 assists this season, right? So I just feel going for a Man City defender is slightly better than probably going for Edison. And I probably won't do it for a hit in spite of City having a decent double this week. I think I'll probably, again, if you already are maxed out in terms of a Man City defense, and if you don't have any other options, I'll still probably look at an attacker, because that's the way I play, right? I like to target the upside. I like to target those hauls. I like to target certain attackers who have decent fixtures, or maybe even a defender, right? So that's my preference. But again, if you don't have any other routes, etc., I think Ramsdale to Edison for a hit is also okay. Nketiah or Richarlison is an interesting one, especially when you have a free hit in 37. I think if you are looking in this game week in isolation, I think Nketiah could even match, maybe even do better than Richarlison. I know there are multiple factors here, right? Richarlison is, of course, from Everton. He's the main attacker. He's on penalties. That's one plus, or one bonus point to him. The other thing is that Everton, on the team Everton, they're not great travelers, right? They struggle in their away games. Yes, one of the games is against Watford, who are probably I think they are the worst team in the league in home matches, right? So that matchup is probably the worst travelers versus the worst home record in the Premier League. So I think that's going to be interesting, but I mean it's probably going to be a little tough. And anyways, I think the next double game week, which is 37, I think Everton have better fixtures than Brentford home and Palace home. I think Palace also are bad travelers. They play very negatively, or they have a very different strategy when they are traveling away from home. So I think that's a better double, and you're already covered Richarlison next week. So I think against Leeds, against Tottenham, especially that Leeds fixture, right? I think that's a really good fixture for an Arsenal team. I think they're probably going to score a couple of goals, and I think you know Nketiah is highly likely to be involved in those goals. I can only say that for maybe a Saka from an Arsenal team right now, and I think both of them are probably the number one and number two attackers in the team. So I'll probably prefer Nketiah this week and Richarlison next week. If I have to do a comparison, irrespective of any budget constraints, right? I would still say Nketiah is probably the slightly better pick this week than the next week, or Richarlison's probably the better pick next week. What to do with this team? Hey Akshat, first of all, hello to you. Welcome to the stream. You have one free transfer, zero point 0.4 million in the bank. Schmeichel, Cancelo, Laporte, Trent, Alonso, Havertz, Salah, Mount, Saka, Kulusevski, Kane. Bench is Foster, Janssen, Mateta, Broha. Zero point 0.4. I think Schmeichel in goal is decent. Cancelo, Laporte, good combination. Trent. I think Alonso is also a good hold. I probably won't transfer him out at all. I'm personally thinking of getting him on my free hit team, which is a different thing altogether. But I think Alonso is a decent hold. I think Havertz is somebody, because you already have a double up with Havertz and Mount. I think Havertz is somebody that you can probably ship off. Then of course when you take him off, there are multiple directions that you can go towards. If you don't have a chip, maybe next week to play, let's say you don't have a free hit, for example, I think Madison is also a decent option. The only thing that probably is lacking in this team is probably a Man City attacker. So I'll try to get to at least a Foden. I think Foden is the easiest to get in your team. I know there are talks, or there are chances that he might miss he might miss out the first game. He might be benched. I mean, he's absolutely going to play in that game, but whether he starts or not, that is it's quite 50-50 at the moment, to be very honest. And I think there's a high chance that Foden gets benched. So that's a risk. But I think overall, if you don't have any chips, and if you want to go for a City attacker, I still feel, of course, getting to a KDB would require you to probably downgrade Kane to maybe a Richarlison. I think that's probably going to give you maybe somewhere around 4 million, something around that price, maybe slightly more. And then with Havertz, maybe you can upgrade, him to a KDB. I'll probably do that. If you're okay taking a hit, I probably will go to a Kane to Richarlison, and then probably Havertz to a KDB if you can absolutely do it. Yes, the lack of heavy hitter in terms of Spurs maybe troubles me a bit, because you only have Kulusevski, who's okay. I mean, he's an average player who can cover the Spurs team, but he can no way cover a Kane or maybe even a Son. No way a Son, maybe a Kane at this point, because Kane is now in more of a creative role. He's supporting the likes of Son to get more goals, especially now when Son is in the Golden Boot race. So I think I personally would want to have a Man City midfielder. Easiest way is to probably get to a Foden. Otherwise, maybe get to a KDB if you can with that money. I'll still have to do the math. Bad at it. You probably do it at your end, but I think those are the moves that I'll probably look at. Shall I go for Everton defense or City or any other team for a -4? I mean, you can go for a City defense if you can get to a Laporte, if you can get to a Diaz. I think those will be better moves because both the fixtures this week are good fixtures. Rest of the games are also decent. I mean, West Ham away is probably going to be a bit tricky, but let's face it. I mean, Man City are only playing to win the Premier League. I think Pep would make them play at the best of their abilities, and I think he's probably going to field a strong team as well. I don't think so. There'll be a lot of rotation now in Man City, of course, unless there's a major injury or there's a major setback in terms of an injury. So I think if you can maybe get to a double up in City with maybe a Cancelo and a Laporte, Cancelo and a Diaz, I still feel probably Diaz right now is a slightly better option because he's definitely nailed. I think he is the mainstay in that Man City defense. And yes, Laporte has probably slightly higher goal threat. That too very, in probably recent games because of course Diaz was not there. And Diaz, and I think City have been targeting a lot of their set pieces through Laporte, right? Because his shots in the box and his expected goal involvement numbers, especially over the last few weeks, have been decent. For a defender, I think they've been top. So I think from that perspective, City defense has to be a priority. I personally don't like the Everton defense. They don't. Yes, I understand that they're probably doing better. They kept a clean sheet against Chelsea, but I just feel there is better upside or there is a high FPL point potential with a Man City defense than maybe Everton. I in fact even feel that yes, we are talking about benching for the likes of James, Alonso, both these players, but I still feel if you compare them with an Everton player, with an Everton defender over the next few weeks, I still feel Chelsea defenders are going to outscore the Everton defenders. So I understand it's a crazy thought that you would probably take a hit to get in an Alonso or get in a James. Maybe you don't have them right now, but that is a possibility. I probably won't look at any other teams right now. Maybe you can get to a Matip, for example, if you are looking for a double up. But yeah, I mean, the best possible combination is Trent Robertson for Liverpool. I mean, that's a really strong combination. I understand Robertson can be benched this week, but I mean, he's still a really good option. Mateta, keeper, sell. Palace have a double next week. Both are away fixtures. Not very keen on those fixtures. Not very heavy. If I really would want to have a Palace player, I probably would want to have Zaha because he's probably going to be the main attacker. He's probably going to be on pens as well. So I think he's the one to go for if I'm looking at the Palace Palace team. Generally, I probably won't, but if you have to, then I think he's the one to go for. So I'll probably sell Mateta. I won't keep him. I think there are better options in and around that price range. I won't really say the same price, but the likes of Nketiah, maybe even a punt on Pookie. I know it doesn't sound very appealing, but I think those are decent. I mean, those are still okay options. We'll use free hit in 37 or 38. I mean, 38 could be a massive differential in itself. I personally felt that there's probably not massive upside in using free hit in 37 because even if I'm using a free hit in 37, that's again, this is my own personal thought, and that's why I decided to use it this week. I feel that I am not going to go at least I am not going to go super heavy. Let's say like a triple up with Everton, triple up with Villa, or triple up with Leicester. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to ignore single game week players because, they have a single game week, right? That's why I felt that I would probably want to get to a Son next week, maybe a KDB to Son move. I would want to have Salah. I would want to have maybe an Nketiah, which I will talk about. Maybe even a double up in Man City, etc. I mean, those are certain moves that I would want to do next week. Not all of them together, but yeah, a few of them maybe to reach a similar team to this. Of course, have maybe a Madison in there. Coutinho will be in my original. He's in my original team, so I think he's definitely going to be there next week as well. Not too heavy in terms of a cash or an Everton defender, maybe even a Leicester defender. I still feel they have better attackers and defenders because I can't trust those teams' capabilities of keeping a clean sheet. And that's why free hit 37 was not very appealing. I still felt there'll be a lot of single game week players that I'll be targeting. I'm not going to captain a player or a specific option from the likes of Leicester, Villa, Everton. I would probably captain Son. So, and he's a single game week player. He has Burnley, right? So that's why I was not very turned on in terms of the free hit 37 option. 38 is an interesting one because I mean, if you look at The fixtures, depending on what happens to Everton, I think Arsenal and Everton could be a good game. Then Chelsea has the standout game against Watford. I think Tottenham also has Norwich, and that could be a massive score. I mean, that could be absolutely anything, right? So these are good options. These are decent options that you would want to target for a game week 38 free hit. But I think I was pretty clear in my reasoning in terms of why I want to do it. John, you have said that you were saying that 36 bench boost, fair enough. 37 free hit. Havertz to Diaz, Havertz to Gordon, Joao Pedro to Jesus, Havertz to Gordon, Joao Pedro to Richarlison for a -4. The fourth option is Havertz to Gordon, Amati to Diaz or Alonso for a -4. Fifth option. Let's just quickly read them again. Diaz, Havertz to Diaz is the first one. If it's, I'm not even sure. It's a decent punt. I understand the viability of a Diaz this week because he might start at least one game, if not both. But I still feel it's a massive punt. I know it's a good haul that you can chase, but it just feels a bit too off for me at least. Havertz to Gordon, Joao Pedro to Jesus. I think Gordon and Jesus. I know that you're free hitting in 37, so you probably don't need Gordon next week as a transfer. But that is definitely an option. That's slightly better option in terms of the first one. If I look at the second option, Havertz to Gordon, I mean, you don't have to get Gordon and Richarlison for a hit. Let's just keep the third option aside because you have anyways free hitting next week. So I don't see the appeal of that particular option. I mean, Havertz to Gordon and Amati to Diaz is a decent option as well. I mean, it depends on which direction you want to go for, right? I think Gordon is a decent pick. He's not really taking a lot of your budget, so I mean you can easily bench him in 38 as well. When Everton have Arsenal, I think that's going to be a tricky game for them. Uh, but totally depends on whether you want to invest that money. I mean whether you want to take that risk because Jesus is going to be risky. So if you're playing risky, he's absolutely number two is absolutely the option to go for. If you are playing a bit safer, right? I'll probably say Diaz is the one to go for. Alonso again, yes, that's that punt, but I probably won't take a hit for Alonso this week. I mean, I probably won't. Amati to Diaz is the safer option to go for. So depending on which direction you want to go for, right? I personally like the attacking option because I like the upside with Jesus. Yes, there is a bit of a risk because he can get benched. I mean, we are all dreaming of him getting those 4 goals again. That might not happen this season at all. But let's take that chance, right? I mean, who's stopping us or who's telling us to not go absolutely out there? It's just a couple of weeks left, right? I mean, I personally feel again, totally depends on what your game state is and what you're doing in terms of your mini leagues and your ranks, etc. But if at all you're planning to take a bit of a chance, bit of a risk, I think Jesus is definitely the one to go for. Absolutely. Havertz, better than Foden. I still feel Foden is probably the better option to go for. Chelsea have Leicester and Watford, both are really good games, right? I'm just a bit worried in terms of that rotation because if they win against Wolves, I mean, they will be in a strong position to finish in that top four. And then Leeds could see rotation. Leicester could even see if, let's say, he plays the Leicester game, I think there's a high chance. And then if Chelsea go through, then there's a high chance that he's probably even rested for the final game against Watford, right? So, and Foden on the other hand, I think because they are playing to win the league now, I think Foden is probably going to play majority minutes. So I think he's the one. He's probably the one for me at least. Shan, hey, a bit late. Had my first board today. I mean, did you have your board exams sometime back? I think I'm not sure. Not sure. But I hope you had a good board exam. If that's the exam that you're talking about, I hope you had a good one. James and Alonso, who do you pick for the double? Very tricky, very tricky, very interesting. A great question. I think so. James has, I think, slightly more higher upside, especially when he plays in that right wing back spot. Now let's look at the both. Let's look at both games. I think Wolves at home is a plum fixture for him to probably play as on the right hand side. I think personally Chelsea will play the strongest team in that particular game. I think the Leeds game is more tricky for somebody like a James because I think there's a lot of physical, running required. You need to be physically very sharp to compete against a Leeds team, right? And I don't think so. If I know, I first of all, I don't think so. James is probably going to start that one. He's probably going to come, as a substitute, maybe play a few minutes just to get, a bit of match practice and be be a little bit okay in terms of sharpness before that huge FA Cup final game. And even if he plays in that game, I still feel I have a feeling that he's probably not going to play as a right wing back. He's probably going to play as a right centre back and could get hooked off earlier because I think Tuchel is definitely seeing James as a major or a major part of that FA Cup game, right? And I don't think so he would want to take that chance with James. So among both, if I had an option to choose one of both, I think probably Alonso. Again, I don't want to say this because Alonso is probably less important to the Chelsea team because he's probably I mean, of course, I still feel he's probably first choice in that Liverpool game in that FA Cup final game. But I still feel when you talk about minutes, I think Alonso might have more minutes over these two games in this particular week because let's face it, Chelsea don't really have a lot of options in that position, right? James, I think he can be very well benched, and there are options that can be played, and there can be rotation there. But I just feel Alonso. I mean, there's not a lot that happens on Alonso's side, so I think he maybe plays, he maybe gets hooked off, in one of the games on 60 minutes. But overall, in terms of minutes, I feel Alonso's probably going to outscore James. Even in terms of expected performance side, I still feel Alonso might just outscore James because of the fact that James could also play at that right centre back position, which is not going to be great from an attacking perspective. When we talk about attacking potential, I don't think so. James would probably offer a lot from that position. So if I have to choose one, I think I'll choose Alonso. Higher minutes could outscore James, and he's also cheaper, right? So he will probably give you some additional funds to invest elsewhere, and those positions from a Foden to a Mahrez, for example, if you're chasing from a from a cheaper Madison to maybe a Diaz, for example, that additional money, I think that could be massive here at this point of time. So I think it has to be Alonso for me. How many of the next four you think Zinchenko plays? I think there is a high chance that Zinchenko definitely plays one at least one game this week, and against West Ham and Aston Villa, right? I mean, both games there are high chance that Zinchenko starts along with Laporte. I think along with Cancelo, I think that's the strongest combination. I don't think so. Ake comes in that in the strongest Man City lineup in terms of defense in any by any stretch of the imagination. So I think Ake is probably going to start maybe one, and that could be in this double game week just to give Zinchenko a bit of a rest. But I'm not. I think Zinchenko can easily start the next three out of the four. That's at least what I'm thinking. Diaz and Kane or Mane and Richarlison. Diaz and Kane if you are probably playing a bit safer. Mane and Richarlison if you are attacking upside, if you're chasing rank, if you are chasing rivals in your mini leagues. I don't think so. A lot of leaders, I mean, people who are leading in their mini leagues, I don't think so they're gonna go for a Mane or a Richarlison, right? These are flair picks, these are expansive picks, so they'll probably end up with with a sad, boring Salah. No way he's sad or boring, but I think that's probably what's gonna happen. So depending on your game state in terms of what you're doing, you can either go for I think Mane and Richarlison is a better combination, at least for me and for my own team right now. If I had to choose one, because I'm also chasing in my own leagues, etc., I think I'll probably go Mane and Richarlison. Already did a -4. Should I remove Ben White? -8. Depends on which player you're getting for Ben White. I mean, if you're getting an Everton defender, maybe not. If you're getting a defender from Man City, maybe yes. So it totally depends on which player you're getting, in place of Ben White. If it's a similar sort of a replacement, maybe you take out Ben White and you get in Tavares. I think I've maybe murdered that name again. But I think if you target that player or him, I think that should be okay. I mean, even getting White to Tavares for a -4, I don't think so. It's really bad, to be very honest. I think Tavares is going to play majority games. I think there's a high chance that he can get an attacking return. I mean, he looks like a player who's all over the field, all over the place, right? That's really good from an FPL perspective, but that's really bad from a football perspective because he can get cards, he can get a red card, he drives into rash tackles, and he's moments away from a booking most of the time. So there is a risk there, but yeah, totally depends on which player you're getting. Is Mateta nailed to start today? Let's just quickly see predicted lineups. I mean, he I think in a lot of forums and in a lot of places where they predict the Palace lineup specifically, I mean, he's expected to start. but I won't be surprised if he's benched in today's game. I personally don't like him as an option, even if Palace have a double next week. I think they're better picks, they're better options. Maybe an Nketiah sector is a better pick in that price. Mateta to Richarlison, Barnes to Mahrez, and White to any 4.9 million defender for a -8. That's my worry, right? I mean, I also had the same dilemma when I was making my moves before hitting the free hit this week, and that happened the entire night. I mean, I was able to get very less sleep because I had to make this draft and I had to, think about what am I doing for my own team. But Mateta to Richarlison is a really good move, definitely a good option. Barnes to Mahrez also, it's a bit risky. I'm not saying Barnes is not risky, but Barnes is slightly cheaper. I mean, he's probably less explosive as compared to a Mahrez. I mean, I can easily see a 15-20 point haul in a Mahrez, maybe not in a Barnes, right? I might be totally wrong, and Barnes will absolutely murder me this week by going absolutely crazy because that is just how our season has been going so far. But let's hope that doesn't happen. 4.9 million defender is where my trouble is because I also, when I was removing White, because I wanted to get Nketiah and I already had three Arsenal players, I wanted a 4.9 million defender. I think the only decent option in that 4.9 category, if you trust, I mean, I don't trust the Villa defense massively. And if I really had to go for somebody, I'll probably go for Cash, who's 5.3. And Digne was 5. So I was missing out there. Young, I'm not sure whether he's going to start all games. So he's a worry for me. If I just look at those 4.9 options, I mean, I think Michaelenko, or let me just quickly see that name. I'm forgetting the right name, but Everton's defender, Everton's fullback. I think he's probably an option to go for, considering that he has a double this week, considering there's a double next week, and you can bench him, in the final game week of the season. So he's an option. I would not like to go for a Spurs player. I would not like to go for a Keane. I'm not sure whether Keane starts majority games. So Michaelenko is probably the one who's probably going to get more minutes. He's a fullback, so there are chances that he can. Of course, he will get you the attacking, not the attacking return, but maybe the clean sheet if the whole defense keeps it clean. But in general, also I think there's slightly higher threat, attacking threat or creative threat with him in the team as compared to maybe going for somebody very cheap who's a centre back, for example. So I just feel he's, again, I don't want to go there personally, and I would not want to suggest in general, but because of lack of options and because if you need a a 4.9 million player, I mean, you can even go lower, but again, I mean, lower also there are not a lot of options. Tavares is a good option, as I mentioned just a little bit before. I think he's probably a better option in a smaller, in a lesser price. He plays for a better defense. No way I think that probably Arsenal can keep all clean sheets in their remaining games, but I just feel Tavares can also give you attacking returns slightly higher than Michaelenko, right? So I think he's probably the better option to go for. But yeah, I mean, earlier in the season we had so many options in terms of those cheapy, defenders on your bench, maybe even playing, for example, like a Livramento and all of that stuff. But now I think, I mean, there's not a lot of value and there are not a lot of options also because Newcastle also I won't recommend because that fixtures are actually tough. Palace again, you can get to somebody from Palace like Gohi, for example, I think, who's gonna start for sure, but I just don't think there is enough value. So I'll probably go Tavares. Tavares. I mean, I'm murdering the name again. Um, we'll take up the next one. -8 viable for bench boost. I mean, it's viable for bench boost, but again, depends on which bench boost player are you targeting. I mean, and does he have a double game week? Does he have a decent fixture? Or maybe you're just getting a random player for the sake of it. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I mean, -8 for, I've seen -12s also working out for bench boost. It's not ideal because you don't want to invest too much money in your bench, considering that you want to play with your 11 and you want to invest more money in your 11. But I just feel, I mean, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. But still, depends on the players that you're getting. No Chelsea players. I had James initially in my team. I can still go to an Alonso. I mean, one of the reasons I did a longer stream was because I also need to kind of get this in my head in terms of where to go for an Alonso versus a Matip. I mean, I have the money. I'll have to do maybe a few changes. I'll have to change my bench and go even cheaper, which I can absolutely do because I don't expect my bench to maybe come on at all. And I think I can definitely do that, but that's the risk that I'm probably taking at the moment. If you have a James or a Alonso, I think they're perfect holds. Just not trusting the Chelsea defense or the Chelsea midfield a lot because I'm not sure what's going to happen. Havertz could get rotated. Mount looks like that he's probably gonna, get more minutes, or probably gonna get the most minutes in terms of all Chelsea attackers. God, let's just hope that happens. But I mean, yeah, Werner or any other player. I mean, not too much trust in Chelsea at the moment, because I just feel there are better options to go for. Guys, 30 of you are here, and if you've not subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do that. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. It's been a long time coming, and would really appreciate your support. So hit like and subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that. Havertz to Coutinho, Dennis to Watkins, Ramsdale to Martinez. A move I have in mind for 37. Opinions. Havertz to Coutinho for 37 looks good. Dennis to Watkins. I mean, it totally depends on how much you trust the Villa team, right? I mean, getting a double up on a Villa team, especially when they have a tricky final game, which is, I think, against Man City, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's against Man City. So, if you have a plan for both of these options, Coutinho and Watkins, are they either you're benching them, either you're just moving them out for a different player in 38, then it's a different thing. But I think for the double, it's only, I think those are decent options. But again, if I was you, I would probably think of 38 as well, and see what my plans are for those players. If you have a free hit, I mean, absolutely do it. If you don't, then at least have a plan in terms of what you can do with them, considering that they have a tough fixture. And in general, I think, I mean, Ramsdale to Martinez as well. I mean, so that's tripling up on the Villa team. I mean, it's okay for a week, but just be mindful of what you're gonna do for 38. Bench boost active: Ramsdale, Edison, Trent, Alonso, Laporte, Cancelo, Cash, Salah, Havertz, Saka, Gordon, Coutinho, Pukki, Richarlison, and Nketiah. I think decent. On a minus 12, I mean, I would have probably. I mean, the issue is that we don't have a lot of other options in terms of our forward line, right? I would have loved to got or get to a Jesus, for example. Absolutely don't have the money for that, so can't do it. Of course, Pookie is probably the only one that I'm not 100% convinced. I mean, Cash is okay. Alonso, yes, there's a bit of a risk in terms of his minutes this week, especially that Leeds game. But I have a feeling that he probably starts both. I mean, famous last words, but yeah, that could absolutely happen. Edison would surely start both games. Overall, I think it's okay. On a minus 12, it's absolutely fine. If you're trying to have some fun, chase, try to catch the upside, I mean, there's absolutely no issue or no problem in taking a minus 8, minus 12 at this point. I understand that the bench boost, etc., would have, derailed a lot of people's plans in terms of what they could have done if they didn't have a bench boost, because it's a forced fed chip. Now we have to play that. I don't think so there's any advantage of playing my bench boost next week. It's probably going to be a horror show where I just end up getting 5-6 points, and it's a complete waste. But yeah, that's what it is. But I think it's decent. What's my rank right now? Also, would you start Simicast or Weghorst? I have a feeling that Simicast maybe starts one game, but I'll probably still start Weghorst. I mean, yeah, I agree with you that I feels like Robertson is sitting for a Villa game, but yeah, I mean, I just can't trust that piece of information. I know for a fact that Weghorst is going to start against Villa. Personally, I will start Weghorst. I would not start Simicast, but yeah, I mean, if you are starting him, I won't be very, very, shocked to surprise. I mean, I understand the logic behind it. What's my rank right now? My rank is an absolute chaos at the moment. It's fallen down to 54k. I hope it's not gonna go outside 100k. I'm taking a few risks now. Uh, I think top 10k is probably out of the equation, but at least let's get to 25k. My rank last year was 16k. Wanted to beat that. Took a few risks, didn't work out. Gotten KDB last week. Absolutely got hammered. I mean, I've not even spoken about that or ranted about that yet. Could have got Son, didn't get him. Got KDB, the higher risk. Maybe not the practical move. Maybe it was more of a desperate move in terms of catching more rank, and I could have gotten Son. I was planning. It was a very close call between KDB versus Son, and Son would have been my captain, so the whole game week would have been very different, and I would have been probably around 25k. That was the crazy amount of swing that one decision had, because my vice captain was Salah. Of course, he didn't start the game. He got benched. He didn't score enough for any points, to be very honest. And yeah, I mean, from a 25K probably to now a 54K, that was the swing that I at least witnessed. What are your thoughts behind going against a possibly? I mean, my thoughts are very, very simple. There is no science behind it. There is probably no. I mean, there is thought behind it. I would not say that it's a blatant random move, but I just feel I have to do catch up. I mean, man, I have to at least get to 25K minimum. At least that's my renewed expectation now at the moment. And if I have to go there, I would be betting against a Salah with probably even, I think his effective EO might be even higher than 150. Because in most of the poll that I've seen, I don't think so. A lot of people are betting against him, but I'm okay betting against him. I understand that there could be massive loss if, he probably ends up getting 15, 20 points, maybe even more. I at least have Salah in my team, so that ownership is probably going to be 50 or 60%. It's still going to be massive. But I mean, personally for me, if I'm chasing and if you are chasing as well, I think going for a KDB captaincy is probably going to be the one of the last chances for you to do catch up, because I don't think so a lot will happen in 37 and 38 unless you go for a Kane. I mean, unless there's a debate between a Kane versus Salah versus Son as captaincy, and Kane and Salah blank and Son goes absolutely crazy with those 15 20 pointer hauls. I mean, there could be a massive point swing there as well. But yeah, I mean, if you have to take a risk, do some catch up, this is the week to go for. City will look for a response. I mean, I know their players will be down and out, but I mean they have a job to do. They have to still win the title, win the Premier League. Like opposed to common perception, I think Pep also said the same thing, that KDB substitution was purely tactical. It was not any injury, etc. So I'm expecting again Pep could go absolutely crazy and tell us that now, okay, now KDB's injured and I will be royally beeped in this game week. But I just feel, I mean, they have to win. They have to win. Otherwise, it'll be probably the worst season in a long time, right? Because they probably won't end up winning anything. I mean, anything relevant. So I think, yeah, it's risky, massively risky. But if you're chasing, if you're doing catch up, I think you have to do this. I mean, you can go for a Son, you can go for a Saka, but I just feel out of all these options, KDB looks like the most sought out option if you're not going Salah. On a free hit too, and going against Salah again. I mean, yeah, let's see. On a free hit as well, going against Salah. I hate you for doing that, because how will I end up gaining rank if you do that? Because you are a part of one of my mini leagues that I'm in. But yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't upload my team, because if I'm catching or if I'm trying to catch rank or catch my rivals in mini leagues, I think this is a major disadvantage of helping people and creating content. Maybe next season we'll try to be a little bit more tactical about it. But yeah, I mean, just kidding. I think let's see. I think it's gonna be an interesting week, because yeah, KDB captaincy and Salah. I think that could be a huge swing in itself if one player blanks and the other one really scores massive. Schmeichel, Cancelo, Trent, Laporte, James, or Alonso, Madison, Saka, KDB, captain, Son Diaz, Richarlison. I think it's a good free hit team. Like the, like the Diaz punt, to be very honest. Uh, absolutely going against Salah is even more scarier. I thought you probably would be captaining KDB and having Salah. I mean, that could be a massive swing. Could be a massive swing. I would still probably go for an Alonso instead of James. But I think it's a good team. Has the right set of doublers, has the right players, attacking players, and I think if the likes of Richarlison and Diaz could play well this week, I think it could be a massive week for you. Bench order for Cody, Broha, Weghorst. I hope this was not a bench. I mean, I really hope this was not the bench. But yeah, I mean, because it's just so sad because I have a sad or a weak bench. I think bench boost is probably a waste of a chip. At least it's not worked for me in a long time. So it's an absolute joke of a chip for me. But yeah, I mean, coming back to the question, I think if you have to do a bench of this team, I think I'll probably won't have Cody first. Let's just quickly see the Wolves fixtures. I'm forgetting. I think they're playing Chelsea, right? Chelsea and Man City. I mean, it's a horrible double. Uh, Broha against Brentford, an away fixture. Brentford at home. I think I'd probably go Weghorst, Broha, and Cody. I think that'll be the order here. Yeah. I'm bringing in Lukaku and captaining him after what Tuchel said. I mean, saying or Tuchel saying something about Lukaku is absolutely something that you can look into. Considering that we are actively engaged FPL managers, but I just feel that he's probably. I mean, he's been out of it for so long. I can't trust him, and captaining him is a big call. But yeah, I mean, if you are having fun, if you're chasing, absolutely go for it. What's gonna happen, right? I mean, it's not that you'll be punished for this decision outside of your FPL rank at all, right? Maybe a couple of memes by your friends, etc. Maybe if you have certain friends or if you have people like if you have very competitive people in your circle, etc. But yeah. Do you think I should play my bench boost? Guaita, Ramsey. Ramsey is a doubt. So I mean, I would probably Guaita, Palace, Davis has a double, bro. I think. I mean, if you don't want to invest too much money or if you're not planning to do any more changes, I think maybe just play this bench boost. I'd still have a huge doubt over Ramsey. I don't think so. He's probably going to start the first one. He might even miss the second game. So effectively, you only have three players on your bench. But if you just want to get rid of it, maybe just play it this week and not worry about it. Having triple captain playing this week, really really interesting. Who to captain? Salah. Salah is the safest option. If you're playing safe, if you're protecting rank, if you don't want to take a huge risk, if you are having a great season and if you're leading in your mini leagues, right? You go Salah. If you are not, I mean, if you're like me, who is now struggling in terms of catching up to people, in terms of gaining rank, you probably go, Cancelo. I really like Cancelo, to be very honest. I think I won't go James. I won't even probably go Son. And I probably won't even go Foden. I think Cancelo is a great option if you are okay with a bit of a risk. Yes, he's a defender. Yes, if he loses clean sheets, he's probably not even going to be in bonus points. But I think that is the risk you take, right? So safer play has to be Salah, has to be Salah. But if you're okay taking a bit of a risk, I think Cancelo is a great option. And you might just remember this haul, maybe if he grows absolutely crazy. I'm going to bench boost this week and free hit in 37. I need to ship out Kilman and Broha out of my team on a priority. For that third spot, I'm unsure about whom to take out, Sa or Mateta. What do you reckon? I'll probably take out Sa, and I'll probably get in. Sorry, I'll probably take out Mateta and I'll probably get in Nketiah if money is okay and money is not an issue. Otherwise, if Sa is if money is a problem, because I don't see any cheaper options coming in place of Mateta. So I'll probably just take out Sa in that scenario, but my priority will be Mateta 2 and Nketiah if you can do it. You're happy to take a -8? I mean, yeah. Can I mean, goalkeepers, if you really want to target, you can probably target Pickford, but I'm not too sure in terms of their clean sheet potential. Everton still scares me in terms of keeping clean sheets. I understand they are a slightly better team and they have to win games because they if they want to stay in the Premier League, they need to win, right? It's there is no complicated theories here. It's just simple maths. So yeah, I mean, probably go for Pickford because they might be a bit tighter. On the other hand, you can also say they might be a bit open as well, a bit more attacking because they have to win, they have to score goals. So Schmeichel could be an option as well. So I think it'll be Sa to Schmeichel maybe. If you're free hitting in 37, and I mean, that's the tricky call, right? Because Schmeichel also has a double, and Pickford also has a double. You anyways will be getting one of them at least on a free hit. So probably just get the other one, and then if Sa to that player is an option. Otherwise, I would always prefer Mateta to an Nketiah if money is okay. That's a brave move, captaining Kevin De Bruyne. Let's see. I mean, going against ownership. I mean, a lot of, I won't lie, a lot of times the decision to captain a specific player has been because of EO. Maybe slightly a bit more than I probably would have hoped for or thought of. And I think there was this phase of 4 or 5 game weeks where I was probably playing a bit too safe. I was not really catching up on hauls. I was not really, going for it. But this is that time, right? I have to go for it. Otherwise, the season's anyways done. So I think it's a brave move. It could end up backfiring absolutely massively, but let's see. I mean, I at least remember the season for the stuff that I did and the kind of moves that I made. So no regrets there. Thoughts on Lucas Digne? Plan to bring him in? I think I've seen a lot of forums talking about Lucas Digne as a slightly better option now as compared to Cash. I think Lucas Digne's numbers have been decent. Looks like a lot of the players probably going through him. He's also slightly cheaper. I think 0.3 cheaper than Cash. So if money's an issue, he's absolutely an option. But I've personally just been too burnt by the Lucas Digne move for a long period of time. So if I look at it from an emotional point of view, I would probably say, don't get in Lucas Digne, get in probably Cash because of what he's done in the past, because of what he can still do. But I think Lucas Digne is probably going to be a higher or a better differential. So I think if it's only for a week or two, I mean, yeah, there's no harm in going for one of the or the other. I don't think so. There'll be a massive difference in terms of points like it was earlier. I mean, it still could be, but let's just hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, Lucas Digne right now looks like a better option. Havertz to Saka, I will do it. I think it's a good move. Saka is on pens, is a great option. Has to be Arsenal's best attacker by a mile, by a distance. And yeah, I mean, he's on penalties. Who expected that to happen, right? So I think it's a good move. I think he's going to start most games. Unless he's badly injured or he cannot play at all, I don't think so. Arsenal and Arteta can bench him because they need him if they want to finish in that top four spot. So I think it's a good move. You think it's viable to do Coutinho to Foden for a -4 instead of goalkeeper move? This also gets Coutinho out for Man City in a game week. I mean, Coutinho to Foden for a -4 might look a bit foolish this week because he has a double this week, then he has a double next week. But yeah, I mean, how much do you really trust Villa to fire and absolutely go crazy, right? I've seen a lot of free hit teams. I've seen a lot of normal regular teams not having Coutinho. So if it was for me, I think I would do Foden because number one, I feel Foden is probably going to start majority games, with the exception of maybe the first game in this double 36. I think he starts majority games because he is among those strongest 11 or that playing 11 that Pep has at the moment. So I think he definitely starts. I think he's gonna outscore Coutinho in spite of Coutinho having a double double. And he gives you that additional fixture with 38 as well, right? Because you will definitely play him. So I don't see him as a problem. I understand that Foden might not play the first game, but that's the risk that you take. And if you look at it from a long term perspective, which is 36, 37, and 38, I like the move. Personally, I like the move. Choose one from these four transfer options: Son to KDB, Sa to Schmeichel, Weghorst to Nketiah for a -8, or Son to KDB, Sa to Schmeichel, and Weghorst to Nketiah, White to Laporte, Sa to Schmeichel. Oh my god. It would be slightly easier for me if you can just probably break it down a little bit. From these four options, we'll try to read it again. Son to KDB, Sa to Schmeichel, Weghorst to Nketiah is one option, I'm assuming. Yes. Then Son to KDB, Sa to Schmeichel, Weghorst, and that's the second option for a -4. Got it. Weghorst to Nketiah, White to Laporte, Sa to Schmeichel for a additional hit, which is -8. Or Weghorst to Nketiah, White to Cash, and Sa to Edison. We already have Kulu. I like the Son to KDB move this week, but I would probably want to have Son next week, and that's where I'm not too confident in terms of maybe going to a KDB. But I would want to still have a Man City midfielder at least. If you don't have a Man City midfielder, I think Son to KDB looks okay. If you already have something like a Foden, maybe a Mahrez, maybe a Jesus, for example, a Man City attacker. That's what I mean to say. I think it's absolutely fine to not own KDB. So depending on what scenario you are in, I think Weghorst to Nketiah is something that I'm seeing as a constant here, and that's a good move. Not really against it. So if you don't have a Man City attacker this week, I think Son to KDB, Sa to Schmeichel, and Weghorst to Nketiah. I think that's a good move because, again, I don't know if you have a free hit or not, or what's your plan for 37. But I think Schmeichel will give you fixtures. He's probably the most nailed option in that Leicester defense. Leicester team in general, I think. KDB will, of course, there's a high chance that he will haul. And then Nketiah also gives you a decent playing option. So I think the first option is pretty good. You can also Son to KDB, Sadu. I think Weghorst and Ketia is also decent. I'll probably make that move for an additional hit. I personally would do it if I'm chasing. If I'm playing a bit safe, then I probably won't take that additional hit and I'll just stick to the second option. Weghorst to Nketiah, White to Laporte. I mean, it looks like a more defensive change to me personally. I would want to target an attacker. And yeah, so I also won't go for the last option, which is White to Cash and Sar to Edison, because Cash also gives me a headache in game week 38, which I'm not really vested in. If you have a free hit etc. and if you're planning to get in Cash in 37, then Cash this week anyways doesn't make any sense. Can transfer in any mid less than 10 million. Any suggestions? Lot of options in fact. Under 10 million, totally depends on whether you want to go safer, whether you want to take a risk. I mean, there are the likes of you know the high differentials like a Diaz, for example. If you don't have a triple Liverpool, there's an option to go even Mahrez if you're going a bit risky. The minutes are probably an issue, but if you don't have triple Man City already, then Mahrez is also an option. If you want to go for a Man City mid, which is slightly safer, maybe not in the first game of this week, in general safer, I think Foden could be that option as well. And if you want to target, if you don't have a free hit available, if you want to target this week and next week as fixtures, Madison's also an option. So there are a lot of options in terms of what you want to do and which one do you want to go for. I mean, having the likes of Saka, etc., is also really, really important. I've seen a lot of people taking out Saka on their free hit chips, which I don't understand because he has a good double and he's Arsenal's main player. And the fixtures are okay. I mean, the Leeds fixture and even the Tottenham fixture is absolutely fine for him. He can also get a penalty. I mean, there are FPL points possibility from Saka. So I think depends on if I have to choose one. I think the safest option probably would be Foden. If I want to take a bit of a risk, bit of a punt, it's between Diaz and Mahrez, and I personally maybe trust Diaz to start a bit more than Mahrez, maybe, and that's why I probably would go for him in that order. But I think Foden is probably the safer option to go for. I'll take up the next one. This year there are two oh this year there are two sets of board exams. Didn't know that. I hope you've been studying and not really focusing on FPL a bit too much. And I hope all the best for exams and I hope you do really, really well. I'm second in my mini league and 75 points behind. Then my friend, you have to absolutely go for it. I mean, send it, in there and take a few risks. I mean, you're anyways behind. What's the worst that could happen, right? Your bench players are Foster, Havertz, White, and Mateta. I'm not sure where. I mean, Foster has a double, but I'm not expecting him to keep a clean sheet. Havertz also has a double, not expecting him to start both. I mean, it's a decent bench. I mean, yet there are options who might not start both, but overall, I still feel. I mean, these are one of the fewer teams that has a decent bench boost in terms of the player quality, right? I mean, if you look at it from in isolation, I think the players like Havertz, White, maybe not Mateta, maybe not even Foster, but I think those two are decent options to go for. So I think if you have a better bench boost planned, maybe next week or in 38, then you think of it. I think it's fine. Thoughts on Amati? Don't think so. He's going to start both games. Think he probably will start one game. He didn't start in Europe midweek, so I think he's probably going to get the first game. But yeah, I also toyed with the idea of playing Amati in as a cheaper option, etc. But I personally don't think so. He starts both. Risky to get him in, but again, if you don't have a bench boost, or maybe if you have a bench boost, right? I mean, he's not the worst option out there on a bench boost. Bench boost it right now itself is not a great position to be in, because you would be struggling to field the best possible playing 11 and then also give your best to the bench. But yeah, I mean, not the worst option out there. But I still don't think that he's gonna play both games. You think I should play my bench boost, Guaita, Ramsey, Davis? I think I did answer this question. Yeah, I think I did. Keep Mount to replace with Foden. I'll keep Mount personally. In a mini league where one team gets eliminated every week, 4 teams remain. I'm on a -8. I captain KDB or KDB or Salah. I mean, again, if you're going safer, then go Salah. But if it okay taking a bit of a risk, then KDB. But this KDB haul and this massive swing can also eliminate you from this week. I mean, a -8 doesn't really matter because if the player that you're captaining or if the players that you have brought in, if they really do well, that hit is anyways gonna get recovered. But if you're scared about getting eliminated, I think Salah maybe is the option. But if you're okay, then I think KDB is that flair pick. I like KDB as an option. Would you do a -4 from Sa to Schmeichel? I've already done a -8 for a bench boost. No, I think I personally won't do a -4 from Sa. I don't think so. Wolves will at all keep a clean sheet in both. Again, it depends on your long term plan, right? If you don't have a free hit and if you are planning to use Schmeichel next week as well, maybe yes. Then in that case, you're getting two good fixtures. This week, you're getting two decent fixtures. Next week, not the best set of fixtures, but I mean, it's okay. Leicester don't really keep a lot of clean sheets. So maybe you're not going to get clean sheets, but you never know. One odd clean sheet, maybe a pen save, maybe a couple of points in terms of saves, and you might just recover that. I mean, this week, if it's just for bench boosting this week and if you're already free hitting next week, then I won't do it. Uh, if it's a long term move, maybe for next week as well, I'll probably will. And of course, which includes a bench boost this week. Would you bring in Cancelo to double up on city defense or bring in Richarlison for his back to back double game week? Interesting, very interesting question. I think I would still like. I mean, I understand the ceiling of Richarlison going absolutely batshit crazy and probably giving a lot of FPL points. Maybe not a lot of people would go Richarlison. I've seen a lot of teams on Twitter, but again, Twitter is probably an outlying thing. Richarlison could score. I'm not too confident because both fixtures are away. Having said that, they still have to win these games because they have to stay in the Premier League. But I still like the potential of Cancelo. There is clean sheet potential in both fixtures. I know that Cancelo has not really gotten a lot of attacking returns, but he generally gets into bonus points. And if he gets an assist, etc., he definitely will be on 3 bonus if Man City keep a clean sheet. Unless, of course, Gabriel Jesus comes in and scores 4 goals, right? That doesn't happen every week. So I still feel Cancelo is probably the better option here. And doubling up on city defense could be a differential in itself. I think a lot of people would probably end up taking hits for it. Maybe on a free hit, they will end up having that. But still, I mean, I probably won't call double city defense as a massive differential, but it will still be enough to help you gain ranks. And I think, I mean, if you don't have Cancelo, I think he should be priority. Savio, you need help. We'll try to help you out. Pick one with the one free transfer. James and Pookie to cash. James and Pookie to cash and Richarlison. Um, Mount and Pookie to Saka and Richarlison. That's the second one. Foden, James, and Robertson to De Bruyne, Son, Matip, and Cash. So first of all, I'll probably break this down into a couple of options. If you have a free hit available, then I won't do cash and if you have a free hit available and if you're using it in game week 37, then I probably won't do the cash and Richarlison move because both options are not great from a game week 38 perspective. So if you're using a free hit, I'll probably just have them for 1 week and not this week. So if there's a free hit in 37 available and you're using that, and that's an option, won't do the first option. Second, again, I like the Saka punt. No, it's not a punt to be very honest. I mean, it's probably a slightly defensive move, but I like the move. I understand Mount is also an option that could go absolutely crazy, but I mean, yeah. I personally like the third option a bit more. I understand that you're getting rid of Robertson could be tricky. James and Foden, they are high risk, high reward moves, right? If you're okay taking a bit of a risk, if you're playing safe, this is not the option, then probably just go second option because Saka will help you with your ownership. I think he's going to do well. And I think he covers off any threat that you can have in terms of rank. Considering that, Mount might not play. Mount, I think, also will have decent ownership, but I don't think so it's going to be anywhere close to a Saka. So if you're playing safe, option 2. If you have a free hit 37 in mind, don't go for option 1. If you're taking a huge risk, depends on, again, I'm coming back to this word called game state because it actually depends on your game state, right? If you are trying to do catch up, if you are trying to maybe catch hauls and probably have the likes of De Bruyne and Son who can haul big this week, then maybe the third option. Safest, I think, will be the second one because you're getting Saka and Richarlison is also a decent option. Replace Ben White with Aspilicueta for a point 0.4 hit. I'm not too huge on Aspi as an option. Doesn't really do much going forward, and I mean, I personally don't think he's that great of a defender in the back three now as well, considering that his age and he's probably peaked his potential. Not for a -4 hit. I mean, if I could understand the argument if this was maybe an Alonso or a James, etc. But or maybe even a Man City defender. And if it's a Man City defender, I'll absolutely do it, but not for Aspilicueta. Dubravka, Tavares, Cash, Weghorst, thoughts. I mean, like all the options, is this a bench boost team? I'm not sure. I mean, Tavares, Cash, Weghorst, all decent options this week. Weghorst maybe not that much against a Villa defense. He can absolutely score as well. Tavares, Cash for this week, I like them. Dubravka again. I mean, not the most ideal option out there, but let me know if there's a question in there. Why early stream deadline is 6 p.m. Sri Lankan time. Deadline is 6 p.m. of course, but I wanted this to be a longer deadline stream because there's a lot to talk about in terms of the different questions everybody has. I also have a few questions even now in my mind in terms of which way I'm going in terms of transfers, etc. So I thought we'd probably do an early stream, get in as many questions as we can, and also at least clear my thoughts in terms of where I want to go. So that's why the early stream. You deserve more subs, Prem. I don't know if I know that or not, but guys, help us get to those 1,000 subscribers. I'm not sure how far we are. Let's just quickly check how far we are, but it'll be really great if you can maybe share it with your friends, maybe who are interested in FPL. Of course, I probably wouldn't want you to share it with some random people out there, but yeah, I think it'll be great if you can share it with your friends. Share the channel, share the link, get them to subscribe to the channel. We're about 17 subscribers away, guys. I think let's take this to 1K. I think it'll be really really awesome. That race to 1K is still on, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that we are able to reach that 1,000 subscribers mark on this stream, and let's get to that, guys. Help us, support us. If you've not subscribed so far, please do that. Would really really appreciate it. Ramsey to Gordon or Cody to Zinchenko or Ake. Like Ramsey to Gordon, Ramsey's not going to play. Most likely he's not going to play, and don't kill me if he plays at the end. But I generally don't think so he's going to play. I think Gordon is a good option. He's not as good as a Richarlison, if you know what I mean, because he's not on penalties. He's maybe not their main attacker. But at that price, his numbers, his value is pretty insane, trust me. And I think he's a good option. Cody to Zinchenko, Ake, I'm not sure in terms of both options, to be very honest. I think they will share minutes. I think there is a high chance that both of them play in their own regard, but I really cannot say. I think Zinchenko definitely outscores him in terms of minutes on the pitch, but it's just a bit too risky. If I want to go to a Man City defense, I'll probably go. See, if I want to take advantage of a Man City defense, which I know is good and I know it's strong, I would not like to take the risks here. I would probably want to safeguard that choice. Go for the slightly safer options in a Laporte or a Diaz or a Cancelo, and then maybe risk out in terms of their attackers because that is where you can actually gain, right? Ramsey to Gordon, maybe you're not gonna get. If let's assume that Ramsey was playing, maybe he'll probably be closer to Gordon in terms of points potential. But because I'm not too sure about a Zinchenko or an Ake, that's why I don't recommend it. But again, if you're okay taking a bit of a risk, and if you just want to, go out there and maybe take a few chances, take a few risks, maybe you're doing catch up. I'm not sure what state or what goal you have in terms of your final thing. But yeah, I'll personally do Ramsey to Gordon. I think it's a better move. Let's get to 1K subscribers. Come on, guys. Let's get to 1K. Let's still 17 odd left, I think. Let's get to 1K. I have Lucas Digne since game week 28 was about a 7. I mean, yeah. I had Lucas Digne for the longest amount of time. He did absolutely nothing. I was so close. I mean, I was not even close. I was absolutely infuriated, frustrated by seeing him not even when he was playing right. I mean, Cash was getting so many points. it's like that Martinelli move, right? Where I got in Martinelli, I think everybody on Twitter, probably on Twitter in general in FPL, I don't think so anybody went Martinelli. When I used to see his ownership every week, it's probably 4%, 5%, 3%, 10% in one week. So yeah, definitely nobody went for him. I got him and he did nothing. So yeah. Uh I still would say that keep Lucas Digne because he has a double this week, he has a double next week. I think he plays. From a clean sheet perspective, I mean, can't really say that Villa will turn prime Man City or prime Barca and they'll start keeping massive clean sheets and then they will get a lot of FPL points from a clean sheet perspective. But I just feel Lucas Digne could be decent. -8 for Cancelo and Matip over James and Laporte. I mean, I understand the appeal of Laporte and James as well. -8, no. -8. I mean, you'll probably lose out on gaining the amount of points that you would have gained or you would gain by taking those hits and that gain will be very it will be highly negated. So I probably won't take a -8 for it. Maybe a -4, but not a -8. Hi there. 11.6 after taking out Fernandez. Who should I replace him with? I think Son is a good option. I would have preferred to go towards the Kevin De Bruyne, but I mean Son is still a decent option. In case if you have a free hit and you are getting a Son next week, I understand why you don't want him this week. Though my reason of playing the free hit majorly was to get in Son this week. Might absolutely backfire, but that is where I wanted to kind of go towards. Totally my thinking. But I think if you want to play safer, I still feel Son is the better option. If you don't have a free hit available, I still feel he could do well. But again, if you feel that Son has a very difficult fixture, I don't want to go for him. Maybe I can get him on a free hit next week and avoid him for 38, which is also a great fixture, by the way. He's facing Norwich. In that case, maybe get to a Man City midfielder. Maybe if you're okay taking a bit of a risk, go to a Mahrez. Maybe if you want to play a bit safer, over 37 and 38, maybe go to a Foden. I think Foden starts both games. So I think that's where I'll go. In case if you are doing massive chasing, there's a Diaz option as well. I prefer him over Jota, to be very honest. So these are the three options I'll probably go towards. Should I do Werner to Jesus or should I do Cornet to Gordon and Weghorst to Richarlison? Keep Werner. I probably won't keep Werner. I think Werner to Jesus is a good option. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to do the Cornet to Gordon move or. So Richarlison is probably the move if you're playing safer because I think Richarlison's ownership is probably going to pick up this week and next week as well. Irrespective of whether you're playing free hit or what's your plan for next week, I don't know that. But yeah, I think that's probably the better option. If you're taking a bit of a risk, then I think it's Jesus who can share minutes with a Mahrez. I mean, there's a higher possibility that he shares minutes with Mahrez, and don't be surprised if he's benched. So if you're okay taking that risk, taking that chance, maybe go Jesus. Otherwise, probably Richarlison is a safer option. Why don't you read my question? I did read your question. I did mention about Guaita, Ramsey, Davis, Broha. Ideally would not want to play the bench boost because Ramsey, I think I answered this in detail. Maybe you missed out. But I'll just recap it very quickly. If you want to play the bench boost and just get it out of the way, this is probably the week because Guaita, Davis, Broha, again, nobody has a outstanding fixture and Ramsey is probably not going to play. So you'll probably just end up having 3 players playing. But unless you're planning to invest more money next week, because Broha also has a tough fixture next week. Davis, I mean, that's probably an okay option. Ramsey again has a double next week, could be better. Guaita also has a double. So I think if you can probably wait till next week, I think that also will be a better call because I think the fixtures for this week are not bad, but I think next week they're probably better. So if you want, you can use the bench boost chip and get it out of the way. But I think next week could slightly be better in terms of using it. Captain Salah, Kane, Salah, Foden. Safest Kane. Nah, just kidding. Safest is not Kane. Safest is Salah. I think Kane, I personally won't do it. Foden again because he's he's probably a bit of a risk this week. Then I won't do it. If there was an option of a Cancelo maybe, or maybe maybe not even a Son, maybe a Saka for example, I think those will be better shouts in a conversation. I think if these are the three options, I'll go Salah. Coutinho and Dennis or Watkins or Gordon. I think Watkins or Gordon looks like a better option. What do you think, Sterling? Sterling to De Bruyne, Havertz to Saka, or Pedro to Nketiah. I like it. For a -4, I really like it. I mean, Sterling to KDB, a lot of people might not feel like it, but I think it's a massive upgrade. Havertz to Saka as well. I think it's a sort of a safe move because it really helps you protect rank. And with KDB, you can absolutely go crazy. Maybe captain him like I'm doing. Maybe not if you don't want to. But wow, Pedro to Nketiah also, I think you're gonna get better quality of games. I think he's mostly gonna play majority minutes. I don't see Lacazette coming in and taking minutes off him because I think Lacazette is definitely leaving, and I don't think so. He starts. Lacazette starts any of those remaining games. For a -4, absolutely do it. Do you think Richarlison to get banned for 3 game week? I don't. So I don't think so. It's gonna be a ban. I think it's gonna be a fine or maybe a police action, which will result in a fine. And I don't think so. He's probably gonna get a match ban unless I'm really missing out on something. And we'll just quickly check it if there's any update. But I generally don't think he's probably gonna get a 3 match ban. I think it's gonna be likely a police matter now, and that will probably result in a fine rather than him getting a match ban. Taking a -8 to get in Tavares, Gordon and Watkins or Richarlison, and Doherty, Ramsey and Weghorst out. Thoughts about this, and who should I take, Watkins or Richarlison? I like Richarlison better. I think Tavares, Gordon, and Richarlison is. I mean, Gordon Richarlison is a double up on Everton. So if you feel that Everton's probably not going to play that well, or let's say if you don't maybe have Coutinho, I think Gordon plus Watkins could also help you with covering both teams in terms of you know Everton and Aston Villa, because I don't think so Everton will start winning games with 3 or 4 nils, right? Yes, they're gonna attack, but I think they're gonna be a little bit nervy in terms of getting a result because they need a result. So yeah, I think it's a good set of transfers. I'll probably suggest, again, my suggestion, or if you don't have a Coutinho, then have Watkins instead. If you have a Coutinho, then probably double up on Gordon and Richarlison. I can see Son blanking. I hope he doesn't blank. I really, really hope he doesn't blank because he was primarily one of the major reasons I wanted to free hit, and it's so different from what people are doing out there, right? I have not seen a lot of people using free hits because they wanted to get Son in, and I'm possibly, again, I don't think so I'm the only one there, but yeah, I mean there could be a minority set of people who are probably having that reasoning of playing a free hit, because I would have avoided the free hit, but I had options like James, who might miss out on 1 game, Robertson, who might miss out again. I didn't have a proper. I had Adams in my team. So yeah. So Son, of course, was one of the biggest reasons of me using my free hit, but I just hope he doesn't blank. I mean, I want a return. I've missed out on so many returns. I don't want to jinx it, and I won't say it on the stream because I end up saying it, and it ends up happening in real football. But yeah, not gonna say it, not gonna happen. I think Kane is absolutely going crazy this week, along with Son, of course. We'll take up the next one. If you're going for a -4, would you do Ramsey to Gordon or Broha to Nketiah? Would probably do Broha to Nketiah. Um, I mean, Ramsey, if you can if it's a bench boost, then it's probably Ramsey to Gordon. Because I think Broha will play. But if it doesn't concern a bench boost, then I'll probably just go Broha to Nketiah. I mean, you can just bench Ramsey. If I think of doing Kilman to Dawson or Dallo, Broha to Nketiah, and unsure about that goalkeeper spot, Sa to Schmeichel or Mateta or Richarlison. If you have Sa, I think I'll probably do Schmeichel, considering that let's assume that you don't have a free hit available next week. So Schmeichel's going to give you 4 fixtures, decent this week and next week. And Mateta to Richarlison, maybe you can do next week. I'm not sure there, but not sure in terms of what your chip strategy, or if you have any chips, etc. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of Kilman to a Dawson or a Dallo. I'm not sure if I understand the reasoning there. Ramsey to Gordon for a -4 or not. If you don't have a free hit, I mean, if you don't have any chips, I think it's a good move. Maybe if you have chips and if you can just, if you don't, maybe if you have a chip, you're using it in 37, which is a free hit chip, and you can bench Ramsey easily, then maybe not. Got a weird one from you or for me, I don't know, not sure. On a bench boost and can just get cash for holding. Cash for holding for a -4 as I already have done David De Gea to Schmeichel. Thoughts plus on a free hit next week. I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of cash because you're getting him on a free hit next week. I think that should be enough. 38 is when you actually need to plan because Villa have a tough fixture against Man City. I know anything can happen in that fixture, but I'm not expecting Villa to keep a clean sheet there. I think Man City will go absolutely all out attack. Might not be a massive scoring game like a 4-5 nil of sorts. I think Villa might just park the bus and make it difficult for City. But yeah, I mean, if you already have a free hit, I personally don't see a lot of value on a minus for a -4. Not a lot of value there. Thoughts on Kane, Havertz, Mount out for Son, KDB, and Ketia? I really like it. So I mean, if you are chasing, if you are taking a few risks, I mean, it's a good move. I think it's a good move. Playing safe, don't do it. Absolutely don't. Don't even think of doing it. But yeah, I mean, if you're taking a bit of a risk, I think KDB and Ketia, because there is haul potential, but there's also a potential chance where maybe Nketiah just gets randomly benched one game, and maybe KDB is rested for or doesn't start one game. I mean, I don't think so. It will happen, but it's football and it's FPL, and weird things happen here. So Kulusevski to Foden or Saka. Safer is Saka. Slightly riskier is Foden. Also Trent plus Mount to Matip and Son on bench boost. I don't think so. I'll do it. Trent plus Mount. I think Trent maybe. I have a strong feeling that Matip doesn't play in that second game. I don't want to jinx it again, but and I've already said it now. But I personally won't do it for a hit, especially this week. I understand the appeal of Kane and maybe Son slightly more, and that's why I've gotten Son, but not for a hit when you already have Trent and Mount. I mean, you can't compare the attacking upside of a Trent to a Matip. Absolutely not. Kane out for Richarlison or Jesus, and Kulusevski out for Son, Mahrez, Foden, De Bruyne. I mean, I really like the double up on Jesus and De Bruyne for a hit if you can do that. If not, then Richarlison and De Bruyne. I think those are really really good options if you can make the money work. Is it worth bringing in Schmeichel, Laporte, and Ketia and Richarlison for Sanchez, Ramsey, Rodriguez, and Broha? I mean, those are you're taking out players who are not really high performing players. They're probably not going to really give a lot of points. So from that perspective, I think even a -12 hit, I generally don't like hits like -12, -16, and all of that stuff. But on a double game week, in a double game week, and irrespective of whether you have a bench boost etc or not, I still feel it's probably worth it. You're getting Schmeichel for next two fixtures, assuming that you don't free hit next week, and Laporte, who you can play most weeks, and Ketia as well, and Richarlison also has a double next week. Richarlison might not be the greatest option in 38 when he's facing Arsenal, but Arsenal are no Man City at the moment, right? I mean, their defensive numbers have also plummeted over the past few weeks. So I don't think so. It's a bad move. Ramsdale, Trent, Dalot, Cancelo, Saka, Salah, KDB, Gordon, Dennis, Marteta, Sanchez, one of Richarlison or Watkins, and Madison, Dinier, Tavares going to bench boost. Thoughts about this? Taking a -8. I like it. I like it. It's a good bench boost. If that's the bench, I think it's a good bench boost. -8, I'm okay with that. Mount plus Mahrez or KDB or Gordon. I like KDB or Gordon more. Slightly higher upside with KDB. I think he plays more minutes than Mahrez. And I think he's going to outscore Mahrez. Fingers crossed. Let's hope he does that. He's my captain. But I think, at least in terms of minutes, KDB definitely outscores Mahrez. So I'll probably. It's a lot about expected minutes and which players you can get who can give you the major or majority minutes at this point in season, right? So definitely the KDB and Gordon option. Havertz to Gordon, Dennis to Jesus, Foster second goalkeeper to Pickford for 37. Havertz to Gordon is okay. Dennis to Jesus, I like it. Foster second keeper to Pickford. I mean, yeah, I like these set of players. Watkins to Nketiah, Havertz to KDB, and Robo to Matip. Watkins to Nketiah, Havertz to KDB, Robo to Matip. I mean, on a -4, it's okay. I mean, of course, you're taking a Watkins who has a double already, Havertz who might just play one game but has a double, and Robertson is the same because he also might. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Robertson missing one of the games, but he might just end up playing both. There's a risk to this. I mean, for a -4, you wouldn't feel that there's a lot you're losing because you're getting three really good options in Nketiah, KDB, and Matip. I mean, I'm considering Matip that he will play both games, though I'm still not 100% sure there. But yeah, on a bench boost for a hit, don't mind it. But there's something to lose here. If KDB or Foden, KDB, I think if you can afford, if money is not a constraint, absolutely KDB. Bench boost thoughts depends on your team, man. I mean, totally depends on your team, which players you have on your bench, whether they're doublers, whether they are single game week players who have a decent fixture, whether they're single game week players who have a very tough fixture, whether they are starters or not. I'm not sure. What's your bench boost? If you can just share it here, and I think that'll be slightly easier to answer. Wildcard or free hit in game week 36 again depends on your team. I think, I mean, I would definitely want to wildcard, prepare my team for 37 and 38 as well. Uh, if you already have a free hit, then I can possibly wildcard this week, prepare my team for 36 and 38, and then free hit in 37 if you have both the chips available. I think that'll be the strategy and the way to go. Hope you're having a great day. I am having a great day. I hope KDB hauls and I'll probably have a better weekend, but let's see. I'm bringing Lukaku and captaining him. I thought I answered this, but we'll just quickly give our take on it. Lukaku massively risky. Not expecting him to go absolutely crazy. Massive risk. I personally don't like it. I need to take a risk, so planning to captain KDB. Thoughts about that? I'm also extremely scared. If you see the screen right in front of you, it's KDB captain, Salah vice captain. Massive risk. Uh, so yeah, scared, but I have to do it. Let's take a shot. Nathan Ake worth a look. Personally, not for me. If I want to target say defenders where I know a clean sheet is guaranteed, I'll probably look at the slightly better options. If you ever feel lost, just look into the eyes of people you love. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's a sweet message. Should I take Ben Davis out for Mikalenko, Tavares or Holgate for a hit? Going for bench boost. I mean, Michaelenko, I don't know how you pronounce it, but taking him instead of Davis, I'm not expecting a Spurs clean sheet at all here. If you're okay taking a bit of a risk, then maybe do it. I mean, if I want to go for one option out of all these, I'll probably go Tavares for a -4. I think that's where you can actually gain the most. Thanks for answering. Of course, absolutely, Russell. Always happy to help, happy to answer your questions, and I hope I'm able to help you guys, and I hope that really works out for you because for me it's been a crazy last few weeks. Should I take a -4 hit for Robertson, Coutinho to Matip and Mahrez? A -4 hit for Robertson and Coutinho to Matip and Mahrez. If you're playing safe, then don't. If you're okay taking a bit of a risk, captaining Mahrez because yeah, I mean yeah, if you're behind your mini league leader by 35 points, I mean take a chance. I need to remove Sterling and out of Mahrez, KDB and Diaz. Whom should I? So KDB has probably. I won't say that he has the highest upside, but I think he's probably is the safest or most explosive option out there because he's probably gonna outscore Diaz or Mahrez in terms of minutes. So if money is no bar and money is not a problem, Sterling to KDB absolutely. I personally won't look at the other two options. If it's KDB in the conversation, I'm a little hell bent or a little I won't say I'm biased, but I'm a little bullish on the KDB pick. Even was last week, got burnt badly, but yeah, giving it another shot this week. Cancelo or Sadio Mane? Sadio Mane is captain. Cancelo, absolutely Cancelo. I think Mane will get probably rotated at least once. Is Dubravka to Schmeichel worth -4 bench boosting, and my other keeper is Ramsdale using free hit in 38. I think for 2 weeks is decent. Um, it's not a bad move at all. I think gives you two fixtures this week, gives you two fixtures next week as well. Not a bad move. Irrespective of whether you're using a free, I mean, if you were using your free hit in 37, I probably wouldn't have recommended that because you already can get to him without taking a hit. But yeah, free hit 38, not a bad option. Going Cancelo captain instead of Salah, 14th Chelsea final game. Salah might be rested. I mean, I personally might have just moved the mic. Just give me a sec, guys. Yeah. Personally, don't think that Salah will get rested. I still feel Salah might just be taken off a little earlier because Liverpool also, if they need to challenge for that title, right, they need to win games, and I think Salah is a really important part of that. So there's a chance that he gets off a little early, but yeah. Is captaining Jesus smart or stupid? It depends on what you're doing in your game. If you're playing safe, it's stupid. I mean, it's not stupid still. Uh, it's a maverick move, right? I mean, if you're chasing, I love that pick or I love that punt. But if you're playing safe, then don't do it. You'll probably end up regretting it. Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, Tavares need one more. I only 4.5. I mean, I don't like any options in 4.5. To be very, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to find good defenders in that 4.5 million price bracket. I mean, you can go for a Crystal Palace player, have a double next week. Maybe a Leicester player in Amati, but I don't think so. Amati starts both games as well. And all the other Leicester options are expensive. I'm actually struggling with this one myself. 4.5, not a lot of options out there. I mean, White is also 4.6 now. So Guehi is 4.5. You can probably go for him. Mitchell is also 4.5, but I'll probably think that Guehi will start more games. Like the Newcastle defense, but don't like their fixtures now. Keane is also 4.6. Yeah, not a lot of options out there. I mean, you can go for an Emerson Royale, maybe a Davis, but those options are good if you can navigate this week because next 2 weeks, there are chances of a clean sheet there. So I mean, if you want to go for a cheaper option, I mean, Davis, I think Davis is 4.6 or 4.5. Let's just quickly check it. 4.5. Davis is not a bad option. I think you can go for him. Sorry, bro, you missed my answer. Mount plus Mahrez. I said KDB plus Gordon. I think that's a better option. KDB, I think, has a higher point ceiling, has probably more minutes in him than a Mahrez this week. I mean, I can't really compare a Mount to a Gordon, but I think just because it's KDB, I think I'm a little, you know, little more confident, especially now that City has to win the title, will play their strongest team. KDB will be a part of it, will be a huge feature of it, and yeah, Maris could get rotated with the likes of Jesus. So that's the answer there. Dennis plus James plus Sar to Richarlison plus Alonso plus Gordon for a -4. Um, don't mind that. Don't mind that. Irrespective of whether you have a free hit or not, I mean, I'm pretty decent. Pickford or Schmeichel. Don't like both, to be very honest. But I just feel, I mean, Everton have two away fixtures this week, and they might not be clean sheets. Though Watford's record at home is really bad, but I possibly still prefer a Schmeichel at this point. Yeah, let me just quickly see Leicester. Yeah, I mean, two home fixtures against Everton, Norwich could be clean sheets there. I think I'll go for Schmeichel here. Thank you for your response. Appreciate it. Good luck for a great game week. I hope you have a great game week too. Not sure what your aim and what your rank or what you're doing in terms of FPL, but I really hope you have a great end to the season and yeah, to this game week and have a great time. I'm at 15k rank. Went to 8k last game week before Son and Saka pulled me back. Attack or defend from here? Just BB left. I mean, depends, right? If you want to consolidate rank, going from 15 to 10k might not be that difficult if you maybe get your captaincy right, right? So depends. If I was you, I would probably risk it and probably go all in. But yeah, if you want to play a bit safer, maybe go a bit differential in your moves, Captain Salah, and I think 10k is still possible. Bench boost left depends on, of course, the set of players, etc. But yeah, I mean, can get to 10k without taking massive risks. Bench one, Havertz, Robertson, Kulu. I mean, all three are decent players this week. All three can. I won't bench Kulusevski because I think he definitely outscores Robertson, and maybe not Robertson, maybe Havertz in terms of minutes. Mm. I mean, he has tough fixtures. So if you look at it from a fixture perspective, I think it's Kulusevski. But I just don't like, I'd probably, if it was me, I'd probably bench Havertz and play Robertson and Kulusevski. I know Robertson can get benched, but the attacking upside of Robertson is really big. So I think the more practical move would be play Robertson and Havertz and bench Kulusevski. But if it was for me, I would probably bench Havertz and play Robertson and Kulusevski. I'm 39 points behind my league. Need to take a risk here. Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing stupid in captaining Jesus. I'll be very honest. I've done not a Jesus captaincy, but yeah, I don't think so. I've captained a Rafinha. I've captained Gundogan last season. He did really well. Might not have been that stupid move because I think Gundogan at that point in time was really on a good run of FPL points. But yeah, I mean there are no stupid moves in FPL. If you believe in that move, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely right. Go for it. Holgate or Ake. I don't know how to pronounce that. For Shar for a -4. I mean, don't like both. Ake is probably gonna get. I mean, if I want to take a risk, I'll probably take Ake because he's from Man City. He can get minutes. I mean, Holgate is also not 100% guaranteed starter. I think. I mean, I don't want to do these moves personally. I don't like both. I'll be honest. I don't like both moves. Why don't you consider Cash or Watkins instead of Matip? I mean, so I can possibly get to a Watkins if I downgrade Matip to maybe a very cheap attacker, and I probably can maybe upgrade because I don't have enough money. That's the thing. I'll probably have to downgrade every other bench player, and I still won't have enough money for a Watkins because I wanted to get to a Richarlison personally, and I couldn't. Cash is somebody that I can get, of course, instead of Matip, but yeah, I really don't trust the Villa defense. I'll be honest. I don't trust I mean, one of the games is against Liverpool. I don't think so. They're keeping a clean sheet in there. Burnley also need to win games, right? To to stay clear from the relegation zone, relegation battle. So I do. I mean, Burnley away, that could be another clean sheet gone. So not too sure in terms of their clean sheet potential, and that is what really bothers me a little bit. Dennis Pookie and Katia pick two. Dennis and Katia for sure. What about Mina 4.9? Um, I mean, if I want to go 4.9, I'll probably go Mikalenko in Everton because he's a fullback. There's a high chances that he probably gets something, maybe an assist. He's a bit more creative than Mina. I think he's a lot more creative than Mina. So if I have the same budget, I'll probably, and if I'm looking at an Everton player, I'll probably go Mikalenko. Thinking Havertz and Dennis or Pookie to Saka and Nketiah. I'll probably do Havertz and Pookie to Saka and Nketiah. Not a bad move. I'll keep Dennis for this. I'm not sure what your plan is for playing him this week or not, but I mean Havertz to Saka is safer, right? If you want to go a bit safer, I mean that's the move that you do. Richarlison might 75% play since he's got. I mean, I don't think so. There is an issue with the ankle, but I think if he's closer to fitness, right? I think Everton has to play him. I mean, he's one of their main or the strongest attackers. Diesel has been out for almost the entire season, and I don't think so. Lampard can afford to bench him if he's okay playing. I mean, yes, there is a yellow mark. There is a chance that he might get benched, and I don't think so. He doesn't feature in either of the games at all. I mean, he's too important of a player. He's on all penalties, so he might come on, give you a dodgy penalty, give you some points there. Uh, yeah. Let's see. I still am pretty confident in terms of Richarlison because he also has a double next week. How about captaining Gabriel Jesus? I just answered Rosa, where I mentioned that it's not a really, I mean, it's not a stupid move. Absolutely, it's not. It's a very risky move, but I like it. If you're catching up, if you are trying to chase ranks, absolutely go for it. Imad, thank you so much. You're a legend. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for all your love from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much again. And I hope I was able to help you. And of course, I hope I see you for the next couple of weeks and the next season as well. Why no Chelsea mid on a free hit? I mean, honestly telling you, one of the reasons to possibly free hit could be getting rid of a Chelsea mid because of the risk of rotation out there. I don't think so. Again, when I say risk of rotation, I totally don't expect Chelsea to, rest 10, 11 players against Leeds. I still feel they're probably going to rest, maybe certain players who are tired, who probably would, or maybe who, Tuchel really sees in the 11 and he cannot take a chance with them getting injured or anything like that. But yeah, I just, when I have options like a Son, who I know who's going to play both games, a Saka who's going to play both games, even a Gordon, I think will play both games. KDB, have a strong feeling KDB and Salah play both games. And even if I don't want to go to, maybe let's say like a Gordon, for example, if I have a chance, have that much money, I'll probably even go to a Madison. I probably won't. I just feel they're better options than the Chelsea mids for this week. I mean, if you have Mount, I understand that Mount is still worth holding. But if I have Havertz, maybe a Chelsea attacker like a Werner, I think I don't think so. All of these players are going to get rested for both games. I still have a feeling that Chelsea are going to play the strongest team against Wolves, and Wolves being Wolves, and Wolves have in such bad form. I think there are chances of massive FPL points and huge variance out there. So don't get me wrong. I don't hate the idea of Chelsea at all, but I just feel this combination of players that I have maybe is slightly better. Bro, should I bring in Mendy for Sa? Also free hitting in 37. Personally, I don't think Mendy will get rested, but yeah, again, there are chances that Kepa might just play one game, right? That's why I don't. I'm not too sure in terms of the idea of getting in a Mendy. I mean, it could be a surprise benching there. I like the idea of maybe getting to a Schmeichel or maybe to slightly cheaper options where you can save some money, invest that additional money into making certain upgrades in your midfield or an attack, right? Because I think that probably is going to be a lot better than maybe a Mendy move. Even if Mendy doesn't get benched, I mean, there are chances that Chelsea might not keep a clean sheet, right? So I think, and you're not getting a massive upside in terms of any points because I don't think so. He's most likely a 6 or a 2 pointer, right? He doesn't make a lot of saves. I mean, and he generally doesn't get into bonus points. So yeah, probably won't go there. Alonso or Matip on a free hit? That's my worry. I mean, I have Matip right now. I won't be surprised if I go Alonso, to be very honest. I mean, I'm still thinking there's still about an hour and 15 minutes to go before the deadline. And help me out with this one because I'm also a bit, so I definitely think Matip plays the first game against Tottenham. Now, whether he can keep a clean sheet in that game, that's a bit tricky because Tottenham can very well score against Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool are still probably the second best defense in the league, but I just feel Liverpool, end up giving you big chances. And Son being Son, and Son being in such great form and being such a good and a clinical finisher. I mean, even if he gets a chance or two, I think he can definitely finish and score, right? And there are chances that Matip might not play the second game. I mean, because it's very close to the FA Cup final, and I know that Konate has played majority games when we talk about cup competition, whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the FA Cup, etc. But I mean, it's a final game. Matip slightly might be more experienced in terms of a crunch game against Chelsea, and he might just prefer Matip over a Konate, and Konate can come in against Aston Villa. That's a possibility for sure. I'm only Trent. It's absolutely not necessary to have two Liverpool defenders. If I wanted to get to two Liverpool defenders, I'll probably try to get to a Van Dijk and and a Trent. I think that's probably the best combination of Liverpool defenders at the moment. I of course don't have any money to get to a Van Dijk. Far from it, absolutely far from it. But I prefer the if there's an option between Man City double up and a Liverpool double up, I think definitely go Man City double up. If you are convinced that maybe Alonso or James are gonna get a couple of starts, James, I'm not still very sure that he's gonna start both games. He might feature in both, but just because of his of him being so injury prone, and Tuchel trying to protect him in the last few weeks as well by playing him in that right centre back position, I think there are chances that James gets benched in one of the games. Maybe Alonso plays both, but that's again risky. I mean, it's a huge risk for both, but I'm also fighting in my head with that same thought that if I'm maybe targeting 1 week, I'm considering this as a 1 week punt, or I mean, it's maybe the player that I get in is probably only ends up playing a single match. Then I probably just might prefer an Alonso over Matip, because I don't think so Alonso is benched for both, and Matip is benched for both, and I think who's probably going to who's likely to score more points considering that he has higher attacking output. I think it's probably going to be Alonso. So let's see. Still fighting with that thought, but let's see. If not Holgate or Ake, I lost the question. Yeah. If not Holgate or Ake for Shar for a -4, how about Chalu? No man. I know that there's a transfer here, but I mean, yeah. Looking for one player 4.8 and below. I mean, if you don't have Tavares, I don't know, man. If you don't have him, maybe he's an option. He's still better than all these players that you're picking. And that's what I feel. If you have a spare Arsenal spot, Kane out for Richarlison, Kulusevski out for De Bruyne, Robertson out for Cancelo. I think it's worth a hit, worth a -8. I think it's worth a -8. Flipped a coin for Salah or KDB captain. It says Salah. I mean, maybe it's the omen. Maybe it's some omen of Salah, outscoring KDB, maybe doing really well. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I just feel if I'm taking a bit of a risk, if I'm taking chances, I think I might just go KDB. I like the idea of Salah if you're playing safe, absolutely, and I agree with it. But yeah, let's see. You should get Alonso instead of Matip. I think so, guys. What do you think, guys? All of you who are here? Is Alonso a better option, or Matip a better option for this double game week on a free hit? I only can afford both. I don't think so. Cash is probably an option. But what do you guys think? Matip versus Alonso for only 1 week on a free hit. Do let me know in the comments in the chat. I think that'll be really helpful for my own team. Should I captain Vardy, Son, or Salah? Salah again if you're playing safe. Vardy is very risky. I probably won't go there. I'm not even sure whether he's gonna end up playing both. So I'll probably go Son if I want to take a chance. But Son has tricky fixtures, and you never know. You just never know. Out of the three, I probably will go Salah. Tavares is good, but I don't see. I mean, Arsenal might not keep a clean sheet, but I mean there is attacking potential, and I think there is better attacking potential in Tavares than Tavares or in him than maybe somebody like a Holgate, for example, or maybe even Ake. I understand the appeal of Ake because if he plays both, there's a high chance that he keeps 2 clean sheets, but I'm just not very sure. Just not very sure. Nigel, you're saying go with Matip. Satya, you're saying go with Alonso. I mean, I don't know. Matip versus Alonso. Do let me know, guys. What do you guys think? Because this is the only position that I'm actually struggling with. I wanted to have Richarlison this week. Didn't have the money. From an Nketiah to Richarlison move. I just feel Alonso has more upside. But Matip might be more safer if he plays both games. Can Liverpool keep a clean sheet against Spurs? Maybe not. Let's see. Still about an hour to go, so we have some time before we make that decision. Stephen, hello to you. Welcome to the stream. You are on a free hit as well. 9 players nailed. Trent, Alonso, Cancelo, Salah, KDB, Saka, Madison, Diaz, and Ketia. Do you prefer Schmeichel or Jesus or Edison or Richarlison in the final two? Mm, I like the idea of Jesus because I think he's more explosive than Richarlison, and I think Schmeichel. I mean, I can't say it with guarantee that he's gonna keep clean sheets, and Edison could give you those clean sheets, but I'm all up for attacking changes, right? If you ask me, I'll probably go with Schmeichel and Jesus, but if you're playing a bit safer, then I think Edison and Richarlison is the one to go for. If you're chasing, I think Schmeichel and Jesus has to be the call here. Need a 4.2 defender for bench boost. Holgate, Dallo, Veltman, Cedric, Sanchez, or anyone else. 4.2 million defender for a bench boost is tricky. We'll see. We'll see if we can help you. I mean, Amati is one option, but I'm again not too sure whether he's gonna start both games. He definitely starts one. He has to start one game. Uh, Amate, yeah, Veltman, Cedric, Sanchez. It also I'm not sure, but I think it also depends on what's your plan for this particular player. Maybe you're planning to bench him all in all games and probably take a chance with Holgate and expect a clean sheet out of Everton. They can. I'm not saying that they won't, but Holgate might not start both games. There's a high possibility of that happening. But yeah, if I have to take a chance, I'll probably just give a shot at a double game weaker rather than going for a Dallo or a Veltman, even a Cedric. I mean, probably Holgate then. You feel Matip will give me one clean sheet? I also think so. At least one clean sheet. But which game he starts and which is that clean sheet is the golden question. Schmeichel or Pickford? I like Schmeichel more. Thought of Ake as he's been starting the. I mean, I understand the logic behind starting Ake. If he gets subbed at 59 minutes, yeah, he's not going to give you that clean sheet. Yeah, Zinchenko can absolutely. I still feel Zinchenko is the better option, and I think he's the most stronger option. I think if you're looking at the strongest City lineup, I don't see Ake in a part of that. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk. So yeah, let's see. Son or KDB for the rest of the season. I like Son slightly more than KDB because I like Son's fixtures in the next couple of weeks. 37 and 38 are really good fixtures. If you're asking, if you're asking about this particular week, then I think it's KDB for sure. But if it's a decision between both, I think Son is the option. Might be equal in terms of FPL points, but I think he's a safer pick to go for. If you're chasing, then it's KDB. I think it has to be KDB if you are chasing and if you are trying to chase the upside, trying to chase your mini league rivals. I don't think so. Everybody is very comfortable with the idea of a KDB in their team because there has to be some fund shifting etc. that needs to happen. So I think considering that KDB and considering that you're okay taking the bit of a risk, then I think KDB is a good option. Havertz to Odegaard and Mateta to Richarlison. I like the second option more, to be honest. It's Havertz to Saka and Mateta to Nketiah. I don't like Odegaard, to be honest, from an FPL perspective. I mean, he's been great for Arsenal from a footballing perspective, but I mean, FPL wise, I still feel Saka has to be the standout pick. So it's Havertz to Saka and Mateta to Nketiah. I think that's a strong double up. Pookie and Trent or Jesus and Matip. I think depends on your game state. If you are playing safe, then it's Pookie and Trent. If you are chasing, then it has to be Jesus and Matip. I think there are a lot of points, a lot of upside to be gained with the Jesus move, but it's very risky because we don't know how much minutes is he gonna get. I mean, all of us can come here, sit here, and speculate in terms of what's gonna happen, but it's a huge risk. So depending on your risk appetite, on your game state, etc. I think you take that call. James to Holding or Robertson to Mikalenko on a bench boost. um, so it's basically James versus Robertson, right? I mean, which defender do you expect to start more, score more? Personally, I think, yeah, I mean, interesting because I think it's going to be very close because I think James definitely gets one game, and if he gets that Wolves game, I think that could be a lot of FPL points. I think out of both, I'll probably sell Robertson, and then I will, especially if you have a Trent, etc. I mean, definitely sell Robertson. Do you think Nketiah will start both games? I think so. I don't think so. Arteta is seeing Lacazette in his plan, in his strongest 11. A lot of reasons for it. I mean, of course, he's been bang average. Nketiah, he's come out in the media and he said that he's not given enough opportunities to Nketiah, and I think now is what this is what he's doing now. Nketiah has played really well. I mean, he gives the Arsenal team a different dynamic because he's a great runner. He closes, very nicely. He also is, giving a lot of energy in terms of attack in that Arsenal lineup, in that Arsenal attack, and I think that is really working out really well for them. Personally, I don't think so. Lacazette is going to start because he's also made it very evident that he wants to leave. He wants to leave the club. He doesn't want to play for Arsenal next season. And I think Nketiah will get more starts. Yes, there are chances that Nketiah might get subbed off. It has not happened very frequently, but could get subbed off. Maybe Lacazette comes in with Nketiah plays two up top. That's also a possibility. Or maybe we get somebody like a Martinelli, for example, who comes in place of Nketiah and then plays up top. I mean, all three are possibilities, but I one possibility that I'm pretty certain about is that Nketiah is probably going to start both or the remaining set of games. Is Lacazette not going to play? I think he's going to play, but I don't think so. He's going to start most games. Schmeichel, Cancelo, Tavares, Tavares. It's like a tongue twisting name for me. This stream. Matip, Saka, Son, Salah, KDB, Jesus, Richarlison, and Ketia for a free hit. I like it. Cancelo, Tavares, Matip. I mean, it's a different free hit because yes, you have Salah, Son, and KDB, but Jesus, Richarlison, and Ketia. I think it's a very explosive free hit. I like it. I couldn't get to this free hit because of money, and I wanted a double city defense, but I mean, it's a pretty good free hit. Sell Mount or Madison to bring in KDB. I will. I mean, depends on your plan for 37. If you're free hitting in 37, then I'll probably sell Madison because I can easily get him on a free hit next week. But if you're not free hitting in 37, and if you want to play this player next week as well, I think Madison is the better player. And then you take out Mount. I would appreciate your opinion highly. Sa to Edison for a free, or Werner, Havertz, or Sa. Werner, Havertz, Sa to Nketiah on Edison. I like free hitting 37. I like the -8. I'm not afraid to take hits in general if it's a valuable hit. Havertz, Sa, and Werner to Nketiah on Edison. I like it. Do a poll on your options for Matip. Let's see. Let's start a poll. Matip or still thinking. Still. Yeah, lost the screen for a bit. I hope it's back. I hope I'm back. I hope you can see me, hear me. I think the screen changes. It shifts when I, switch to a different screen. Let's get to the next question. If I replace Havertz by Smith Rowe and Mateta by Richarlison, is it better than Havertz? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think Smith Rowe is probably. I mean, I understand his appeal of maybe starting more minutes now, but I just feel. I mean, I still cannot compare a Saka to a Smith Rowe, in spite of whatever memories a Smith Rowe might have given you, or the FPL community. I just feel Saka is the one to go for. Sell Madison, Kulu, or Mount for Saka. As I said right earlier, if you have a free hit in 37 and if you're planning to play your free hit in 37, you can get in Madison. So in that case, you can sell Madison this week and get in Saka. If not, if you don't have any chips available, if you don't have free hits available, and if you want to continue this transfer, then probably take out Mount. I'll probably hold Kulu because of games in 37 and 38. They're good fixtures. Is Alonso a risk this game week? I think he's a risk this game week. I think he is. If no free hit, then I think, yeah, I think, let's see. I mean, I understand Madison can also get rested. So you would probably, probably expect Mount to outscore the likes of Madison in terms of minutes. But yeah, I'll probably still have Madison in there. Maybe take out Mount for Saka, have Madison and Kulusevski. There's also another take to it. If you have a Kulusevski and a Son, maybe a Kane, maybe you still have Kane for some reason, then maybe Kulusevski in that case. I know I'm throwing different scenarios here, but as in when something's coming to my mind, I'm just sharing it with you. I think, yeah, on in case of all these scenarios are not being met and you don't have a free hit, I think it's Mount to Saka. I know a lot of people would say that don't take out Mount because he might start both games, but I just feel when you don't have a free hit, I think Madison is worth holding for this week and next. Get in Alonso. I mean, I want to. I really, really want to. But yeah, I might still do it. Still about an hour to go. Foden, Mount, Robertson to KDB, Saka, Mikolenko for a -8. Bench boost team is Schmeichel, Foster. I mean, I'm assuming it'll be Foster here. Foster, Mikolenko, Watkins or Pookie or Nketiah or Pookie, whoso I want to. Of course, you want to keep on the bench, but I think it's a good team. Good team. I think I like it. Richarlison ankle injury. There is a chance. Of course, there is a knock. I won't really call it a massive injury because I otherwise he would have been absolutely been out of this game week, maybe even beyond. But there is a knock. But if I generally feel if Richarlison, if because Everton have to win games, they have to if they have to stay in the Premier League, they have to win games, and I think Richarlison is their main threat in terms of attack. He's also in penalties. He can be a threat in open play as well, and I think if he's even close to full fitness, even if it's maybe 75-80%, right? I think he plays. You captaining KDB? Yes, I'm captaining KDB. Captained him last week as well, and oh my god, he didn't even start, and that was a huge. I mean, it was a massive swing, almost 30,000 rank. Went from I think almost 25-30K, something around that, to almost 55K. So yeah, KDB and Tavares or Mahrez and Robertson or Trent. If I would definitely want to have one of. I mean, I would want to have Trent if I'm playing safe. So Mahrez to Trent. I know Mahrez doesn't really sound a safer option because he can still get benched and he might not give you minutes. On the other hand, KDB and Tavares may be slightly more reliable in terms of minutes. I still feel I like the if you're chasing, then I think KDB Tavares is probably the option to go for. But yeah, I mean, not having any of Robertson or Trent might be scary. That's there. Should I captain Cancelo instead of Salah? Trying to gain rank, but past game week my captaincy decisions have been bad, including Salah last week. Um, I mean, if you are chasing, then going to Salah doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely zero sense. If you want to chase, if you want to target the upside, you need to go for a differential captain who has a potential to haul big. Just not go for any random pick and random player, but go for somebody who can actually give you a major haul, right? And I think Cancelo is that player. He can give you two clean sheets. He's not been that great in terms of getting assists and goals, etc. But his attacking stats have been okay. They've not been bad. He takes a lot of shots inside the box, so he is in and around that penalty area, and he can get in assists, get in crosses. Not a bad shout. I would love to go get to a KDB if you can. We've had conversations about Gabriel Jesus being a captaincy option, but if you don't have these players, Cancelo is not a bad shout. You went from 80k to 50, absolutely crazy. 80k to 15k, that's a massive jump. I probably went in the other direction I went from 7.5k to about 50k, and yeah, that's been that. Should I do Jesus, Schmeichel, Gordon, and Nketiah? Those are four players. For Broha, Ramsey, Werner, Dubravka for a -12 on a bench boost, and you are all. I think it's okay. If you're okay taking a bit of a chance because you're taking -12s, but you're getting all good players. Jesus, slightly risky, but can haul big. Schmeichel, Gordon, and Nketiah also give you options next week. So in case if you don't have a free hit available for 37, I think it's a really, really good bench. It's a good bench boost this week, and it is a good set of players for next week as well. Captaincy options are Cancelo, Saka, Salah, Trent. If I have to rate, I'll probably rate Salah as the safest. But in your case, if you're not going safe, then I think Cancelo, Saka, Cancelo, Trent, Saka. I think that probably will be the order. Or I might even go Cancelo, Saka, Trent, but I'll probably prefer Cancelo. You feel KDB is outscoring Salah this week? Even if you're chasing doesn't isn't captaining Salah pushes you even down. I have a strong belief that KDB outscores Salah this week. Maybe not in terms of minutes, but I think in FPL points, in FPL points terms, I think he outscores Salah. Both are good. Both are important fixtures. Liverpool have a lot of other things to play as well. We might just see a random, rest from Salah. I don't think so that's going to happen because he was very recently rested. And even if I'm chasing, yes, a Salah haul could get me down. But if I go Salah captaincy, I don't think so. There's much more to gain because I think the Salah effective ownership is probably going to be around 140, 150, maybe even slightly more, maybe 160, something like that. So there is a lot to lose, but I don't think so. Kevin De Bruyne's ownership and effective ownership is going to be that high. So yeah, let's see. Guys, hit subscribe, hit like, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Still about 17 subscribers to go. Share it with your friends, share it with whosoever you want to, and of course, if you're okay doing that, that'll be really, really, we'll really appreciate that. Trying to, or at least trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Still about 17 subscribers away, but let's hope. It's still about an hour to go, about 50 minutes to go, and I hope we're able to do that. But let's see. Still about 85%. I can do Alonso, and I want to do Alonso. I'll probably have to update it on. Let me just quickly create a team with Alonso here. So I'll probably take out Matip. I will get an Alonso. Who also I think is probably just going to start one game. But if it's Matip versus Alonso, maybe Alonso. And then I have minus 0.4, so I can probably take out. Yeah, I'll have to probably downgrade a Foster to a cheaper keeper. I can keep Tavares just in case because I doubt that Alonso is gonna get rested in both games. But yeah. So I'll have 3.8 for a keeper. I think no keeper is 3.8 as far as I know. Let me just quickly check that. Yeah, 3.9 is Steele from Brighton. We'll go for him, and I will probably go for a cheaper third striker. Instead of Greenwood, we can get in a 4.5 dud. Like a 4.5 player who probably doesn't play. maybe even a 4.4 player. We can get Richardson. So we'll have 0.1 million in the bank, and I think it's a decent. So we have Alonso, Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, Tavares, Saka, Salah, De Bruyne, Son, Gordon, Nketiah, Richardson, Gelhardt. I can still make that move. 0.1. 82% Alonso is where we are at right now. Let's see. I'm probably going to keep it till the last moment, but let's see. Triple captain Salah or KDB or Son. I think if you're triple captaining, I still feel Salah is the best option to go for. Going differential, of course, can help you, but only if you're chasing and if you are wildly chasing. It's not a negative word, but in case if you are chasing and if you're far behind in your mini leagues, then this triple captaincy chip can actually help you gain that much difference. I think KDB is probably worth it, but I just yeah, it has to be KDB if you're chasing or Salah if you're safe. So yeah. That backline with Alonso sounds, it sounds better, but is he going to play? I'm sure he plays one game, right? Now I understand Matip is a rotation risk because do you think Alonso is also a rotation risk? Do you think he plays the Leeds game? Do you think he starts the Leeds game? I have a feeling he starts the Leeds game, but he maybe is hooked off on 60 minutes or something like that, maybe even at halftime. Because that Leeds game really requires a lot of. It will drain you physically, right? Because you'll have to do a lot of running. It might be a very open game, so there might be, Alonso might be attacking, or maybe in the attacking half a lot in terms of Leeds. So yeah, I know, and it just feels that Matip maybe doesn't really have that much of a higher upside because, yes, he's been really good in terms of FPL points, and I think somebody did point out that he has outscored maybe Robertson over the past 10 game weeks or so, something like that. So yeah, I would have definitely liked to go for Van Dijk, as Shashwat you're pointing out, but can't. I mean, I don't have the money. A bit behind in that regard. So yeah. Schmeichel, Cancelo, Laporte, Alonso, Robertson, Coutinho, Saka, Kulu, Salah, Son, Weghorst. Nothing in the bank. What change? Any changes that you recommend? I like Schmeichel. I like Cancelo, Laporte. Alonso's a hold if you have him already. Robertson to Van Dijk could be an option. Um, but yeah, it depends. Are you okay holding Van Dijk for the next few games? Do you think Robertson's gonna get more attacking returns there? Coutinho, Saka, Kulu, Salah, Son. I think I'll keep everybody. The only thing that is missing here is maybe a third Man City player. Could be a Man City attacker as well. But because you don't have anything in the bank, I think it'll be difficult to make those changes. Either you take out Weghorst and maybe get to an Nketiah. That's an option for sure. And then maybe you do the Son to KDB move. But again, if you're very happy with Son, if you don't want KDB, it's fine. You already have a double up in terms of Man City defense. You can even do triple up. You can even do Robertson to, maybe a Diaz, for example. I think that also is an option, by the way. Going triple City in defense. Somebody might feel that, you're probably stupid to make that move, but it's not a bad move, to be very honest. Not a bad move. If you're okay getting to a Son to a KDB, then that's an option you do because you can downgrade Weghorst to an Nketiah. Otherwise, another pick could be Robertson and Robertson to a City defender and just absolutely depend on that City defense. It's risky, but that's one change. But otherwise, generally, overall, the team is not bad at all. What do you think about Havertz and Werner to Jesus and Jota or Diaz for free? I like the Havertz and I like the move. Would go Jesus and Diaz, I think. It's quite 50-50 at the moment. A lot of people are saying that Jota might outscore Diaz this game week in terms of minutes because Diaz is probably the nailed option for the FA Cup final. I also think that Diaz probably plays or starts in that FA Cup final, and that might lead him to play lesser minutes. But yeah, it you can make the argument in the other direction as well. But I like the overall move. As a Chelsea fan, I believe in the Leeds match, Alonso will play 60. I also think he'll play 60 to 65 minutes and get subbed. Yeah, you can't start with Pulisic as left wing back or even Saul. I think Saul has also played there, if I'm not wrong. Maybe he was it left wing back or right wing back. I'm not too sure. But Saul has played in that position. I think it was left wing back, and it was a bad performance as far as I remember. So yeah, I might do the Alonso move. I'm itching more close towards it now. I think always wanted to, but I just wasn't sure whether that will be the right call or not. It's so hard to do Son to KDB. I mean, yeah, I understand why it would be hard because, of course, Son can do really well this week against a high backline of Liverpool, where they, very somebody like a runner and somebody as clinical as a Son, he can score against Liverpool. And I mean, the London derby could be as open as possible, right? Because both teams will be absolutely going for it. So there are chances that Son can get a haul here. And yeah, to go from him to a KDB, and you might argue that Son is probably the better option to go for 37 and 38, because I'm personally thinking of a switch from a KDB to a Son next week. So let's see. But I think it's gonna be hard to make that move. I'm so indecisive whether to take Richardson or what. I, I'm assuming it will be Richarlison. I think it's Richarlison. If you don't have Coutinho, it absolutely has to be Richarlison. And in general, also I think it's Richarlison. I mean, yes, you take that risk of going with an Everton player, but I think right now, to be honest, Richarlison is way more important to an Everton team as compared to to a Watkins, because what I saw in the last game when Ings came on, Coutinho also was very effective. I mean that Ings Coutinho partnership was really good, because Watkins is not a great finisher. I mean, yes, he does a lot of running. Yes, there's a lot of off the ball output that he brings to the Aston Villa team, but I think has to be the best finisher among that forward line. And I think with Bailey also in play, I think Coutinho's role will also kind of a bit over the place, and was not uh, very encouraged to see what Coutinho or was he doing, especially before Ings came. I personally will go Richarlison. My goalkeeper is Foster. That's where I'm getting the money for. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? If you so it's also I also took this decision of whether to go for a cheaper keeper, because how much am I really realistically going to gain out of a Schmeichel, right? But I just feel Watford are so bad defensively that it might just be a couple of points, and I think Schmeichel might just outscore him. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, absolutely fair play if you've gone for Foster and then a Van Dijk instead of a Matip or a Alonso. I think fair play there. I'm going with triple City defense. Cancelo, I like it. I actually like it. Cancelo, Laporte, and Edison. Fingers crossed. 2 clean sheets incoming. I mean, if they keep 2 clean sheets, that'll be massive. Werner, Havertz, James to Nketiah, KDB, Cash. If you have, again, I think I've answered this question. I'm not sure, but I'll quickly answer it again. If you have a if you have a game week 37 free hit available, I possibly won't go for Cash, but in isolation, I think these are good transfers. I possibly still would want to keep James, but I think you probably will have to do it because of the money. You can even go cheaper to maybe a Tavares and save that additional money, make some additional upgrades elsewhere. I mean, that's also an option. Can we trust Pep? Should we not think about Chelsea? I mean, we can't trust Pep at all. I mean, who's telling you or telling me to trust Pep, right? I mean, you can't trust Pep at all. Done that in the past, got burnt last season. He has been doing the same shit over and over multiple seasons, so you can't trust him. But on the other hand, you can't even trust Chelsea players that much. I mean, you can, of course, but it's just that the Leeds game and that game being very close to the FA Cup final, which Chelsea have to win, because otherwise their season was also a pretty average one, right? So that's the reason I'm not too sure in terms of Chelsea attackers. And I feel Man City probably has higher upside when you're chasing rank, and when you're trying to go a bit differential. I think the ownership of a Mount or a Havertz, I think it'll be a lot higher than somebody like a Mahrez or a Foden or maybe a KDB, for example. So if you're chasing, if you're taking a bit of a risk, then I mean it's worth overlooking the Chelsea players and going for Man City players. De Bruyne, a good punt captaincy. I think he's a great punt of captaincy if you're chasing. If you're playing safe, then absolutely don't even think of doing it. I mean, it has to be Salah. If you have Salah, of course, it has to be Salah. Captain Vardy or Salah, I'll still captain Salah. Out of these two options, I'll still captain Salah. I think Vardy is a bit of a risk. Can I replace any Villa player for Gordon with this price? Cause I want Richarlison. Didn't understand the question. Can I replace any Villa player for Gordon with his price because you want Richarlison? You have Gordon, so Richarlison is too much. I mean, personally, I would prefer Richarlison. Don't mind the double up on the Everton attack, but yeah, I mean, you might feel it. I mean, I'll probably split the risk with one Villa and one Everton, rather than going to Everton players. I understand both away fixtures, Everton team, double up might sound a bit too much. I think that's fair. Foster White, Cash, Weghorst on a bench boost for a -8, or do Weghorst to Richarlison and use bench boost in last game week maybe. Depends on who are your other players. So if you have the same set of players, Foster, White, Cash, and Richarlison, I think Richarlison has Everton, Cash has Villa, White has Everton, and then Watford has. I'm not sure which team do they have last game week. Chelsea, not a great bench boost. I think I'll play the bench boost now. What if Matip plays only Spurs and doesn't get I mean, that is a high possibility, right? Matip only plays Spurs and doesn't get a clean sheet. And that's where you actually start thinking that do you really want to take that much chance, or maybe just try to try to attack the upside, try to chase the upside by going for somebody like an Alonso. So let's see. Half an hour to go, half an hour, 35 minutes to go. Want to get to Alonso. I really want Alonso because I understand it screams a lot of risk, but I mean Alonso might not be bad. Might not be bad overall. Might be a decent pick. Saka, Son, or Salah as captain. I think if you're going safe, then you go Salah. If you are taking a bit of a chance, bit of a risk, then I think you do Saka. I think Saka is a good option to go for. Not a bad pick in case you're chasing. Confirm my team. Bench boost active. All the best. I think it's gonna be a great game week. Hopefully you get a lot of FPL points. You get a good rank boost as well. And here I'm still stuck on the Alonso versus Matip decision. So let's see. Thank you guys again for joining. Of course, there's still a lot of time to go. In case you've not subscribed to the channel, guys, please do that. Share it with your friends, anyone who's interested in FPL. Still about 16 subscribers to go in 1,000. And yeah, time is running away. We have to reach 1,000, guys. Let's see if we have any news in terms of any leaked lineups, anything at all. We'll quickly check Twitter here. Can't see anything in terms of any leaks or any transfers or anything at all. Not sure. Even the first set of fixtures are also not that great, right? The 7:30 games. It's Brentford, Southampton, Burnley, Aston Villa. Of course, Aston Villa I think will be critical for people who have the likes of Coutinho, Cash, maybe Watkins, maybe a keeper, in Martinez. I mean, Chelsea's news. I think that will help a lot in terms of which player. Of course, I don't think so. I can afford a James, but I can certainly afford Alonso. Uh, so yeah, let's see. I mean, it'll be great if we can get some news in terms of a Chelsea leaked lineup. Let's see. Thank you, Imad. Thank you so much for joining. All the best again, and I hope you have a great week. Hmm. Nah, I don't think so. We see anything in terms of any leaks. So yeah, still left with the same decision in terms of going for an Alonso or a Matip. I think right now it's 78% Alonso, 22% Matip. So yeah, let's see. We'll probably give it some more time. Won't leave it till the very end because I'll probably also have to update the team on Instagram. Should I keep Young or -4 to bring in Alonso? I mean, I won't take a hit to bring in Alonso, but I'm also not too sure about Young starting both games. I mean, you don't have to get to Alonso. You can maybe go to a cheaper option in Tavares, for example. That's an option. It might save you some money. You might invest that elsewhere. 37 and 38 are okay. I mean, they're not the worst fixtures for Chelsea. But let's see. Guys, another half an hour to go. Please make sure that you add anything in the chat in terms of any questions or anything that you want to check on or want to ask on. Anything regarding injuries, lineups. If you have any captaincy doubts, anything at all that you would want to check on, will be our pleasure to help you guys. You're welcome, Miguel. All the best to you as well. I hope you have a great week and a great game week, of course, because at the end of the day, we are here to play FPL and do well in the game. So, green arrows, everyone. Definitely, definitely green arrows, and just hope we get something right this time. I've almost the same players and I've bought an Alonso, but players on the bench doesn't start. I'm on a free hit. I mean, it's okay. Even if you have players on the bench who don't start, I don't see the likes of Cancelo, Matip, Diaz, Trent, Gordon, KDB, any of these players missing both games. I mean, unless you really get unlucky and there is some injury in training or some injury in warm up and something of a long term injury, then it's just pure bad luck. But I think in general, I don't think so. There'll be anyone in this team who doesn't start both games. And I'm also inching towards Alonso. I mean, I even if it's one game, right? I like the upside of an Alonso over a Matip because Liverpool's game is in 3 days. They're playing on. I mean, if we talk about UK time, they're playing on Saturday evening, and then they are playing on Tuesday evening. So that's Sunday and Monday is 2 days rest, and of course Saturday they have the game. Tuesday they have the game. So it's 2 days of complete rest, and then they'll be of course traveling because is the Aston Villa fixture. Aston Villa is at home, and it's a away fixture for Liverpool. Just feel 2 days might be a bit too early for somebody like a Matip to recover, and then because I think Spurs game is gonna be, I think it's gonna be an open game. It's gonna be an attacking game. I think there are chances that Liverpool don't keep a clean sheet in that one. So yeah, please help me. Should I buy Robertson or James? I'm gonna free hit in 37. If you have to buy, I'll probably avoid both. I'll probably buy a Man City defender, maybe a Laporte, maybe a Diaz, maybe Cancelo if you don't have him. I think those will be higher priority moves. If I have to target a Liverpool defender, I'll probably again. If you have the money, get Trent. If you don't have the money, maybe get a Van Dijk. Maybe not Robertson right now. I mean, there are chances of him getting rested. He can absolutely play both games, but I'll probably just get in Van Dijk and save the money. Wrapped up my work. Hey, Ansh. Super quick for a few minutes of FPL. I mean, yeah, half an hour to go. Still, that decision is hanging over our heads in terms of whether to go for Alonso or Matip. Right now, it's clearly Alonso, but we'll see. Should I captain Mount? Is it? I'll answer the first question before. Is it worth taking a -12 for a bench boost this week? Depends on your bench boost, to be very honest. If you are taking, I can see your message down. So you're taking Weghorst, Dubravka, Young, Ramsey to Nketiah. I think it's a good bench boost. I mean, it's decent. I'm not sure whether it's worth -12, but because you have Holgate and you have Gordon, I don't know what your plan for 38 is because Holgate and Gordon both have Arsenal that week. Ramsey is definitely not playing, so I think that's a good move. Schmeichel also will give you, if you have a free hit next week. I mean, it's not a great bench. You maybe can even stretch it to 38, do some different moves. But if you don't have a free hit available in 37, it's a good bench boost this week and a good team next week. Should I captain Mount, Bernardo, Son, or Salah? Salah safest. If you want to take a bit of a punt, I won't go Mount or Bernardo, to be very honest. I don't even want to go Son. I mean, if I had a if you have a Man City attacker, maybe go there instead. Maybe go Saka. But yeah, I mean, I don't like Mount or Bernardo as captaincy options. Um, Shivam, you've mentioned your team here: Schmeichel, Laporte, Cancelo, Trent, James, Salah, Coutinho, Son, Foden, Pookie, and Dennis. Among your subs, you have Foster, Alonso, Mateta, Gordon. Thinking Foden to Mahrez and bench boost. I mean, Mateta is a risk in terms of start, in terms of a in terms of a Palace start. Like Alonso, like Gordon, Foster is also decent. I mean, it's a decent bench boost. Foden to Mahrez, Foden, yes. I mean, I understand the appeal of Mahrez for this week, but long term, I still prefer Foden. If this was a free hit, maybe Mahrez was a better shout. But overall, again, depends on what you plan to do with this spot where you have a Foden or a Mahrez. But I just feel it's better to, yeah, it's probably better to keep Foden. We'll take up the next one. I bought in Digne, but I'm so worried. Should I captain Salah or De Bruyne? I mean, Digne, yes, it's a risk, but it's not a massive risk. Villa is okay. I mean, not the best team in terms of keeping clean sheets, but Digne could have some attacking threat. Salah, if you're going safe, Kevin De Bruyne, if you're chasing, if you are falling behind in your mini leagues, if you are trying to chase rank, I think De Bruyne is the best bet this week. Did I? I'm not sure if I answered this, but I'll probably just quickly check it. I did. I think I did. Yeah. The Weghorst, Dubravka, Young, Ramsey to Nketiah, Michael, Holgate, Gordon. If you have a free hit in 37, I won't bench boost. I won't do this bench boost. If not, then I think it's a good move for this week and next week. You don't have a free hit, and I mean, yeah. I think in that case, I think it's a good play. Photo media. I am not sure what that means. Any lineup news? Nothing yet. We'll quickly refresh and check it again. But nothing in terms of any leaked lineups so far. I mean, the only game that honestly interests us in that 7:30 IST kickoff is probably the Chelsea lineup. I think in terms of which player is starting, whether it's going to be Alonso. I think it's going to be it has to be Alonso and James, and Wolves are just too bad right now. I mean, they are really really bad, and it's a home game for Chelsea. Yes, there'll be certain pressure, but they would want to win and cement that position in that top four. Because if we look at the table very quickly, Chelsea's third with 34 games played and 66 points. If they win, and assuming Arsenal will also win, probably. I mean, Arsenal again can definitely win against Leeds. Might be a trickier game against Tottenham, but I think there are points to be lost in that game. I think this win will make that transition to that third spot, I think, a lot easier. And I think Tuchel will want to get that advantage early on with this fixture. And I think there are chances that Wolves are for the taking. I mean, their defensive record over the past few weeks have been really bad. They don't score a lot of goals, so there is clean sheet potential here as well. So yeah, there are chances. How about a -8 to bring in Alonso, Schmeichel, Richarlison, and Katia for a bench boost? Not bad for a bench boost, to be honest. Alonso, Schmeichel, Richarlison, and Katia, pretty decent. What do you think of this thought? Pookie for Nketiah and downgrading Tavares, Gelhardt accordingly for funds covers both Arsenal by Saka and an informed Pookie. I mean, no, I think Pookie. I mean, Pookie has not scored over. I don't think so. He's taken a shot over the last two games. I think Norwich is relegated. I don't think so. There'll be a lot of motivation there. And yeah, I mean, I fancy Nketiah more than I fancy Pookie because Pookie's probably playing. I mean, Nketiah's playing for a better team, a better attack, There's a lot more on stake there. So in terms of game state, I think Arsenal will need those points a lot more than maybe maybe a Pookie who probably will just play. Of course, I'm not even sure whether they have a home game or not. We'll quickly check it. But yeah, I don't like the idea of a Pookie, to be very honest. Yeah, last two game weeks he's blanked. Haven't done that great. They have a home game against West Ham in 36 and then Tottenham finally. I mean, that Tottenham game could be interesting because that could be anything, to be very honest. I mean, it could be one of those, those tennis match scores like a 5-3, 6-3, something like that. I mean, that could be a massive game. But yeah, I mean, I would not really trust Pookie over Nketiah. KDB or Salah triple captain. Safer is KDB. Better. Safer is Salah. I've answered this so many times. Salah is safer, of course. If you're playing safe, protecting rank, Salah is the one to go for. KDB is a good option if you're chasing rank, and if you're okay taking a bit of a risk. Play Amartey or Digne. I'll play Digne. Would Watkins or Barnes be good differential options? And should I play it safe with Salah? I think play safe with Salah. Harvey Barnes, yeah. Would Watkins or Barnes? I'll play it safe with Salah. Captain Cancelo, good option. Risky, but great potential. Can be two clean sheets on the bounce and then maybe an attacking return. So could be good. Risky, absolutely. I mean, there's a huge risk involved because if Man City concede in both games, I mean, Cancelo is probably not going to end up scoring, a lot of points. Salah KDB captain, again, as I said, safer Salah, KDB differential and riskier. Raghav, your final team is Schmeichel, James, Robertson, Trent, Cancelo, Laporte, Saka, Son, Salah, Coutinho, Nketiah, Kulusevski on the bench. Couldn't do KDB to Son move because I have to use another if you want to transfer him back and make the reverse move, it possibly doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense for 1 week, but yeah, let's see. Home game for Chelsea plus first game in front of new owners plus home game after the Everton embarrassment. So yeah, I mean, plus no Bruno Lage because of COVID. I mean, that really screams of a lot of FPL points, right? I mean, at least a good Chelsea result, if not anything else. I think let's do it. I mean, and let's take a chance, right? I mean, with Matip as well, I'm taking a bit of a risk. Maybe Alonso would be a bit more interesting because he might be a bit more attacking. We might get goals. We might get something from Alonso. Matip looks a bit too safe at this. I mean, he doesn't look safe at all because if he doesn't start the second game and if he doesn't keep a clean sheet in the first, we're absolutely gone, right? Because then it's absolutely shambles. But yeah, I think let's do it. Let's get Alonso, but there will be certain changes that will be required in our team in that scenario. So it'll be Matip out, Alonso in, and then a -4 can be navigated through a cheaper keeper. I think we can go for a cheapest keeper option available. Let's do this move and confirm. We can get Steele from Brighton 3.9. 0.1 is what we have to now negotiate, which we can do by downgrading a Greenwood to a cheaper option. We'll keep Tavares just in case because we want a safer option. So we have Gelhardt as one of these strikers. We'll possibly get. We have 4.5, so we can look at a 4.5 playing option. I don't think so. There are a lot of 4.5 playing options, anyways. I mean, yeah, Dobbin, Ferguson, nobody plays, so we'll probably just go. I don't know which one to go. I mean, it's not even a decision. I will go Richardson from Burnley. And doesn't really matter. Make the moves. We'll confirm our moves. Yeah, so that's the team. Alonso, Cancelo, Trent, Diaz, Kevin De Bruyne captain, Salah, Gordon, Son, Saka, and Nketiah. Tavares on the bench, Gelhardt, and then Richardson as our final option on the bench. Second keeper is Steele, so doesn't matter. So yeah, so I think 69% poll is still Alonso. So we'll probably just have Alonso. Yeah. So that's the team. At least we are done now, guys. 20 minutes to go. Get your questions in there. Get your comments in there. Whatever you want to do, please make sure that you save your team a little bit earlier this time. Because of the double game week fixtures, because of a lot of traffic, I think this week on the FPL website, there could be crashes. There could be, I don't know, n number of things that could go wrong. So just do that. I'll also just quickly take a minute, maybe a few seconds. I'll just quickly post my team on Instagram as well, so that we keep people aware and we don't get last minute trouble for changing our teams at the end. Just give me a moment. I'll just quickly put my team in. Referring to captaincy, I mean, I did answer that. I think Salah has to be the safer option. Trent, Gordon, or Richarlison, Matip. Trent, Gordon, or I mean, if you want to go safer, then probably go Trent and Gordon because I think Trent outscores Matip over the two games. Uh, so yeah, I think I'll probably just go. I'll go Trent Gordon. If I use a free hit in 36, will I get two free transfers for 37? No, you won't. You will only get one free transfer for 37. What's my overall rank? Don't ask me. By the way, I've not mentioned my overall rank for some reason. Honest mistake there, but yeah. It's around 50k right now, 54. Dropped from 7k in the last few weeks. Have been taking a few decisions that didn't go right and have been losing out on a lot of FPL points. Last week itself, got in KDB, captained him. Wanted to. I mean, the brain sets on, the heart said KDB. Didn't listen to the brain, went for the heart. Absolutely got massacred. And that probably was the difference between a 25k right now and a 50k, 50 plus k right now. So that's where I am. Guys, just give me a moment. I'll just quickly post my team. Final team for game week. I think I'm pretty confident in terms of having Alonso now. I think looks like it will be the right move, but let's see. Let's see. Laporte Diaz going for, I think Diaz looks a lot safer right now. Richarlison or Nketiah. Out of the two, I think I like Richarlison because he also has a double next week. And I mean, yes, Arsenal are also playing in the top for the top four spot, but I think Richarlison is way more important right now. Marteta to Richarlison and Mount Coutinho to Gordon. Who should I sell? Mount or Coutinho? I mean, if you have a free hit in 37 available, then probably sell Coutinho. Otherwise, Mount. In Foden, Saka, and Ketia and Van Dijk for -8 bench boost, I like it. Pretty good options. I was successful in convincing the FPL gurus. I mean, no man. In no way an FPL guru. Just like the game and just like sharing my thoughts and just like talking about it because I'm also a lot of times I'm also in need of help. Right? It's not that we or it's not that everybody who maybe or somebody who creates content knows everything about FPL. It's just that there's a slight interest. There's of course passion about it. A lot of people are doing this full time now, as a profession. So, but yeah, no guru, nothing like that. Just like talking about it and sharing my thoughts. Pookie Dennis or Watkins for Nketiah? Pookie Dennis or Watkins for Nketiah? I mean, again, if you're looking at a long term pick, who you're gonna play, then it's Watkins. If you don't have a free hit, then it's Watkins. If you're just gonna play one game, this pick for this week, I think Dennis is also a decent option. Won't go Pookie. Holgate, Sessegnon, or Fofana just this game week. Fofana, Holgate, both risk. I think Sessegnon plays both. Could be could be a decent option, but it's Spurs, right? And they don't keep a lot of clean sheets. I mean, the safer option is probably to go for somebody like a whole. I mean, can't even say Holgate is a safer option to be very honest. Fofana is also somebody who might not play both. It's a tricky one. Just this game week might just go Holgate, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure there. What do you think of Fofana? I like him as an option, not very expensive, but I just don't think he's going to start both games. I mean, he's come back after a long time. Of course, now he's playing games as well. Just yeah, I think he's one of their strongest defenders, but yeah, I mean, I personally don't think he's probably going to start both. Could be. I mean, if you want to bet on him, I think he probably might be a better option in terms of clean sheet potential than Holgate. because I'm not even sure if Holgate plays both, right? But yeah, I mean, not at all sure on all those three options. Opinions on bench boosting in 37 depends on your team, what your players are, and if you have the right set of players. Have a dead bench on free hit. Of course, who would not have a dead bench on a free hit? I mean, most of us would have a dead bench on a free hit. Steele, Williams, Delph, and Richardson. I mean, yeah, let's not even talk about it. Kane to Jesus, Richarlison, and Kulusevski to Son. I think I've answered this, but we'll quickly take it again. Kane to Jesus, I think I like the upside there. If you're taking a risk, go for that move. And Kulusevski to, I think, again, I really like the double up with the Man City attack. So if you want to go a bit risky, then Jesus Mares, I think could be a bit risky. So probably go Jesus and Foden. But if you're looking for a long term move, then probably go Son because Son also has good games in 37 and 38. And I mean, you might not end up taking too much risk in terms of Man City attack. That could be okay. I would have loved to go towards a KDB, but I think money might be an issue here. If money is not an issue, then go KDB. Keeper sell Thiago Silva. On a free hit, I won't have him. Maybe. I mean, I don't think so. He starts both games anyway, so probably just sell him for a Man City defender. Maybe even a double up on a Liverpool defender. Maybe a Van Dijk if you have the money. Tavares or cash to bring in. I like Tavares attacking potential, but if you don't have a free hit in 37, then cash. Captain Saka, Richarlison, Mount, Jota, or Cancelo. I think out of these options, I'll probably go Cancelo, Saka, Jota, Mount, Richarlison, or Richarlison, Mount. I think that will be the order. Oh my god, I didn't post my team. Let me just quickly post it now. Going for Alonso instead of Matip. So that's the team. That is done. I think we're set pretty much in terms of what we are doing this week. Finally, for double gaming 36 is yeah going for Alonso instead of Matip. I think that's pretty much done. We're good. Guys, a couple of more minutes, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe around 10 minutes to go. So make sure that you ask as many questions as you want or as you can, and I would be happy to help. In case if you're just come here on the channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You like the stream as well, guys. Still a little bit far off from 1,000 subscribers. I thought we'll probably reach there, but maybe it's probably not going to happen this stream. 986 is where we are at right now. Still about 14 subscribers to go, guys. Come on, hit that subscribe button if you've not done that so far. Help us get to that 1K subscriber mark, guys. It's a race to 1K, and I really, really want to do it this week. And in this stream, there is still time. I mean, we can still do it. So if you've not subscribed, make sure that you do that. Um, Take up the next one. Captains. I think I've answered this one. Robertson or Matip throughout the week. I'm not sure what throughout the week means, but I mean, if you're saying both games, I think Robertson is the better pick still. I mean, even if Matip ends up playing both, Robertson can still outscore him in one game in spite of not keeping a clean sheet. I mean, that's a possibility. Absolutely. About 10 minutes to go, guys. I'll quickly answer a couple of questions on our Instagram channel as well. By the way, if you've not checked our Instagram channel, it's insanely football. We also do a lot of content on Instagram. So yeah, I mean, whenever you're free, just give it a look and let me know what do you think about it, because I think there are a lot of changes that we are expecting or doing next season. I think so that'll be really, really helpful. Oh, sorry, I meant Robertson or Mate for the rest of the season. Robertson, I think has to be Robertson. Should I take Mount out for Saka? Mount out for Saka. If you're playing safe and if you want to protect rank, if you're worried about Saka's effective ownership, then do it. I think he outscores Mount in terms of minutes, maybe even FPL points this week. I think both are good fixtures. Saka is on pens as well. That could be really good. Guys, make sure that you save your teams, save your transfers. I think going for Salah as the safest captaincy option still makes a lot of sense. I think it's still the best option out there. In case if you're chasing, I think then probably go for somebody like a KDB. In case if you don't have a KDB, the other Man City options might not be that great because there's a lot of rotation risk involved. Then maybe you can even go for somebody like a Saka. I think who has. I mean, Tottenham and Leeds are two really good fixtures from an attacking sense. So I think there's a lot to be gained there. Opinions on Madison out of the Conference League and has. I mean, there is a slight chance that Madison might miss one of the games this week or might play limited minutes in this game week. But I mean, yeah, he could even he could even start the first game. I'm just a bit worried about the first game in this double. But yeah, I mean, I think Madison is now a good punt. He's a good shout. Has a double this week, has a double next week, and I think he maybe misses one game, maybe sits out of one game out of all the games of the season because now Leicester have absolutely nothing to play for, and I think he'll get minutes. Diaz or Cancelo? I like Cancelo. More attacking threat, higher effective ownership. So if you're protecting rank, I think Cancelo is the one to go for. Should I play Amati or Tony? I mean, Brentford has Southampton, right? Yeah. I mean, not even sure if I mean, Amati just because he has the double game week, I'll probably prefer him over Tony. But just by that logic, I mean, there's nothing else to be honest. Even if you play Tony over Amati, I mean that should be okay. But personally, I'll just prefer the double game weaker. I know that there's a chance that he might not start both, but still. Smith Rowe or Saka? Saka has to be all the way Saka. Schmeichel, Cancelo, James, Trent, Saka, Barnes, Salah, triple captain. Absolutely love it. Foden, Mount, Richarlison, and Ketia. How set am I? I mean, is if that's a question, if that is you telling me how set you are, I mean, it's pretty set. But yeah, I mean, if you're asking, then I think it's a decent team. Cancelo, James, Trent, like the triple defense. So Barnes is somebody I'm not too comfortable with. I probably would have preferred a Madison, but I mean it's not really bad. It's still a decent team. Any further news on Richarlison? Let's quickly check if we have anything. I think of course there's a knock on his ankle, and there are chances that he might not. I mean, there's absolutely a chance that he might not play the first game or gets benched and all that stuff. But let's hope that doesn't happen because a whole or a hell lot of people are buying Richarlison this week, and it's absolutely gonna be carnage if Richarlison sits out of both games. I'm not jinxing it. I'm not saying anything. Let's just hope it doesn't happen. Let's see. Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, Thiago Silva, Laporte, Jota, Saka, captain, like it. Mount, Madison, Dennis, Richarlison, benches, Foster, Havertz, White, Mateta. I mean, I'm not sure if you've made any changes here or not. But yeah, I mean, Mateta could be Nketiah if you have the money. I don't. Do you have triple Arsenal? I can't see triple Arsenal. You have Ramsdale. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you will have triple Arsenal. Ramsdale, White, and Saka, right? So you won't be able to do Nketiah. I mean, it's fine for a bench boost. It's a decent team. I would not make any changes here. No news on Richarlison, guys. No, can't see anything which certainly says that he's out or he's definitely not going to play in. Changes as in playing any benched players. Okay, I'll bench Foster for sure, White for sure, Mateta for sure, Havertz and maybe. I mean, I'm not too sure in terms of. So it's a decision between. I mean, you have to play three defenders. So you can play Trent, Cancelo, and maybe Laporte, bench Thiago Silva and play Havertz. I mean, there's a slight upside because he's. I can't see Thiago Silva playing both games. Maybe Havertz plays both, even if it's limited minutes. So I personally I will play Havertz over Thiago Silva. Rest is okay. It's funny how even after playing the entire year this week, I mean, this week is a make or a break for this season, for our season, for my team, for our team. I think it's gonna be epic. But let's see, guys. Couple of more minutes to go. Please feel free to ask any questions if you want. Um, I'm just quickly answering a couple of questions on our Instagram page. Jota is riskier. Mount is safer. I think it's a lot. There are a lot of people who are chasing hauls this week, and it's actually a good thing to kind of see because I think this week it'll be a lot. I think this will be a very important week for a lot of people. Alonso, Chelsea. Yes, I did Alonso, Chelsea. I got a Chelsea option. Just not updated it here because I made the changes on the stream live, and I don't have the updated creative. It's probably going to take a lot of time, and I probably miss out on your questions, which I don't want to do. I have Alonso instead of Matip, and the rest of the team remains the same because the bench is Tavares and then two non-playing players who don't really matter at all. So it's fine. Hoping by saying this, I bring into existence Cancelo will get two clean sheets and two goal contribution. I'll make him my captain. And Salah will. I mean, if Salah blanks, I think that itself is a major point swing. Two people who are not who have not captained Salah. So someone like us, for example, who's captaining a KDB, right? Why you got no Chelsea? I did. I have a Chelsea player. I have Alonso in place of Matip. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it myself. I hope so. I hope I haven't done that with a Matip or an Alonso. Let's see. Whenever I've used a chip, I have scored less. I don't know why that works or why that happens, man. I mean, the whole idea of a chip is to help you score more points, but yeah, I mean, might be just bad luck. I mean, I am pretty sure it's might be just total bad luck here. Why Havertz over Thiago Silva? There are rumors that he will get benched, but Thiago Silva also will get benched in one of the games. I don't see him playing the Leeds game, to be very honest. I see him getting benched there, and there are chances that Havertz ends up getting more minutes than Thiago Silva, anyways. So, plus he's an attacker, and I think if you look at the Wolves fixture, I still feel Havertz could play in that game because Chelsea need to win, and Havertz, Werner, and Mount. That's the best attacking combination for Chelsea. So I think that's my reasoning of going Havertz over Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva, yes, he can keep clean sheets, but there's not a lot of attacking potential. I'd rather go for somebody like Alonso, etc. If you have the funds. But yeah, I mean over 2 game weeks, because it's Thiago Silva, I don't trust him to start both games, and that's why I'm okay playing Havertz because again that's how I play. If you want to play a bit safer, maybe you play Thiago Silva, but I would still play I would still play Havertz. Bench order: Thiago Silva, White, Mateta. In the same order, I think Thiago Silva, White, Mateta. I think that White also misses out on one game, and I think this bench order is fine. Made Cancelo captain. All the best for that. I hope that really works out for you. Great, guys. Just a minute to go. Make sure that you save your teams. I'll also quickly check if my team is fine. I have not checked it. Maybe in about half an hour's time. Have the right set of players. Kevin De Bruyne captain, Salah vice captain, Tavares on the bench, Gelhardt, Richardson, Steele. I think it's set. Set. All good to go. KDB captain. Let's go, guys. All the KDB captainers. All the best. I hope we outscore Salah by a lot of points. I don't know how many points. I just need to outscore Salah because that effective ownership, and the moment that effective ownership comes out, I think I'll be very very super worried. But let's see. Trying to get first place in my mini leagues for Havertz over Thiago Silva. I would still have Havertz over Thiago Silva, and I hope you did that because the deadline is passed. But yeah, I mean, even if you are first in your mini league, I will still take that chance over for a Havertz over a Silva. KDB captain, deadline passed. Great, guys. Thank you so much again for joining. It's been a long stream, this one. I think we touched almost about 3 hours. I hope I was able to answer your questions in these 3 hours. And I really, really thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. Really means a lot to me that you come here on the stream every week, and always have a good chat about FPL, about football, and about stuff in general. It's always a brilliant and a great feeling. It's been a very overwhelming feeling, to be very honest. Was massive when it happened last year, and across the whole year I've been getting a lot of love on on Instagram, on YouTube in general. Also, I've made so many friends. I've spoken to so many people during this time of this journey, and I think it's been really amazing. I know this will bite me back, but Salah just hasn't been. I mean, yeah, Salah hasn't been in great form, and that's where you think that he might just be quiet. But I mean, come on, he's playing for that golden boot. He wants to score. I mean, the kind of stuff that you hear in the media, right, in terms of press conferences and pressers, and Salah talking about scoring 40 goals and all that stuff. I mean, of course, all that is absolutely crazy, but I mean, yeah, that just gives you a slight headache when you're not on the right side of a captaincy hall of Salah, and you get scared when you are going for a differential captain. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Could be massively risky, but don't. I mean, if you're chasing what, I mean, there is a lot to lose because you'll end up losing out further. But yeah, that's what it is. Just flipped a box and chose between Holgate and Ake. Holgate in for -4. I hope he starts both, and really hope that he keeps at least one clean sheet. I mean, Everton can keep a clean sheet in this double. Is just that both games are away. I mean, Leicester would have that European hangover. They might. I don't think so. They'll feel a weakened team, but they might be tired legs out there. And then Watford at home, I think that could be a clean sheet. But I mean, Watford are. I mean, they don't even score a lot of goals, right? That's the issue with Watford, and their home record has been really bad. So that gives me a little bit confidence in terms of Everton maybe getting something out of that game. Now, whether they're gonna keep a clean sheet or not is probably a bit tricky because Everton's defense, yes, it has improved over the past few weeks, but I mean, it's still the Everton defense, right? So yeah, let's all the best for that. Let's hope you come out on top. Luckily, play Havertz over Thiago Silva. You have good ball knowledge. I mean, let's hope that comes out true when we see the lineups and I mean we see the squads, because sometimes what happens, of course, when you're talking about FPL, even when you're talking about general football, right? Your understanding of the game, yes, you could have a proper understanding in terms of how you perceive the game, but that might be actually a bit different from how other people are looking at it, number one, and how things might come out to be true in FPL terms. I mean, not talking about football in general, but in FPL, we've seen certain decisions, going absolutely crazy, where a Salah gets benched randomly, where a Pep roulette is something that, I mean, people are losing hair over it, and they've still not been able to get it right. And it's been seasons, and it's just not been a one single season. It's been multiple seasons since all of that is happening, right? So that is the game. But let's see. I just hope I have been able to help you in the right way, and I hope that Howard starts both games for that sake. I don't mind saying that on the stream. Pogba to City, I read that today morning, got disgusted about it. Didn't get enough sleep last night, and I didn't know what to react. Probably got a bit angry reading that. I mean, I don't want United to give him a new contract because I don't think that he. I mean, I don't think so. He deserves a place in this team. I don't think so. There's a proper system that he can play in this team, and I don't think so under Ten Hag as well. He's probably going to fit in. He's not been consistent enough to deserve that sort of a contract. I don't know why United really go after him. Of course, there's a lot of commercial value attached to it. There's a lot of other things that come into play when we talk about a Paul Pogba to a United, especially when we let him go for free and then we bought him for so much money. There are a lot of different elements involved. But I don't want him to stay at United, but I don't even want him to come to City, because I know for a fact Pep. I mean, I don't see him playing the Fernandinho or the Rodri role, because I don't think so he can excel in that. But he might just play, alongside KDB, maybe in place of a Silva, maybe in place of a Gundogan, for example. I mean, there is a role there for a Paul Pogba. But yeah, I would hate, and I think the United fans would hate him seeing in a City shirt. I think, yeah, that's gonna be nah. I mean, can't even imagine that happening. Gaming 30 deadline stream with so her name is Devana, of course. I will check with her and let's see if he can get something together. Might be difficult this time around because she also has a lot of stuff going on in terms of her work. But yeah, I'll try my best, not committing to anything, but let's see. Madison, question mark. I mean, he's a good player. I like him as a player. A decent option this week. Might miss out the first game against. I think the first game is against Everton, if I'm not wrong. Everton, yeah. Might miss out, might get benched for the Everton game, but I think overall, if you look at it from a slightly longer perspective, 36 and 37 combined, I think it looks like a good option, looks like a good move, and I think yeah, I mean, no, nothing against Madison as a pick, to be very honest. If I want to target a couple of players, I'll probably look at a Schmeichel because I think he's probably the most nailed, so I'll at least get the majority minutes out of him. And there are clean. I mean, Leicester don't keep a lot of clean sheets, but Schmeichel could still maybe make some saves. Maybe maybe a penalty. I know penalty save is wishful thinking at the end of the day, but could happen. Absolutely could happen. Weghorst, Coutinho out for Foden and Ketia -4. I like it. Like it. I think Foden and Ketia and -4 Salah captain. I think it's a good move. Kept 37 in mind as well as Everton play two games. I mean, yeah, you can use your free hit in 38 as well. I think using your free hit in 38 is going to be a massive differential in itself, right? Because I think majority of the people, maybe about 5 to 10% people would be left with their free hits. I could be lesser than that as well because 36 and 37 are double game weeks. The way people think or perceive the game is that they would want to target a double game week. I still feel a free hit works best in a blank game week where you can actually get more upside. In these game weeks, what is happening that you are letting off certain players. For example, I am letting off James, I'm letting off a Robertson, and they might just outscore the likes of an Alonso, for example, or maybe a Diaz, for example. Right, so there is a lot to lose here as well, and that's where things get a bit complicated. But yeah, last game week of the season, maybe some teams are playing for something. Maybe that 18th place is still in play. We don't know that. I think Norwich is already relegated. Watford will also get relegated by that time. Uh, and the top four race might still be on. I mean, you never know. I think a lot depends on that Arsenal, Tottenham game. I think if Tottenham really win that game, I think it's gonna be really interesting because then I think Arsenal will be in a very tricky position. And of course, they also have to win the other games, and Tottenham has to do the same. But yeah, I think a Tottenham result in that game would make things really interesting. Um, I kept answer this. I don't know how to pronounce this name, uh, and I'm in fact working on a video where I am actually doing some research. And in fact, there'll be some content coming out very soon in terms of what I think of Ten Hag as a United manager, what kind of changes I think are required at the club, what kind of transfers out and in are expected at the club. So there will be some content there because now, of course, the FPL season is ending, and I wanted to do a bit of content maybe on United, and I think some of it will be on transfers as well, where we'll probably, I'm not sure the intensity of those or the frequency of those videos, but we'll probably take out some videos in terms of transfer rumors and transfer news. I think that'll be really interesting. But I think I'm actually a bit excited in terms of him as well as maybe other players coming to United because I think after a long time we're actually seeing a proper shift in terms of a lot of deadwood kind of going away from the club. We're seeing a couple of maybe promising youngsters from Ajax who have a good understanding with Ten Hag, who he's made into really good ballers, really good players, and I think those would be a lot cheaper than your maybe your English players or in certain wonder kids across the world. I think that's a possibility, and I think it'll be an interesting phase, interesting time. I think we need definitely people in midfield, and I think he's a really good option. I mean, I won't say that I've seen him a lot. Of course, I've done some reading. I'll do a bit more research there, but I think we need certain players. We need players like him. It might be slightly cheaper as well. But I saw there were certain rumors around him that Liverpool are also trying to probably poach him. I mean that could be a chance. I'm not sure. Let's just quickly see. I think Fabrizio. I think he did some update. I'm not sure because I was reading something before the deadline. Because there is Calvin Phillips as well. I think he's probably going to be cheaper than Phillips. I think we need to do smart transfers now, and instead of going for the most expensive players or the most expansive players, I think that is where that rebuild will start kicking into place, and we'll have to get those those players right. Because yes, there have been a lot of issues at the club. There have been a lot of problems at the club, but recruitment is one of the biggest issues that United has faced over the season. So I think he could be a really good option, and I think he'll definitely come cheap. I think he'll probably be a lot cheaper. Um maybe he's cheaper, maybe he's not, because there are rumors that he might even go 60, 70 million, maybe even more than that, right? So let's see. Let's see. He plays for Monaco, right? Yeah, he plays for Monaco. I think. Yeah, I mean, there are rumors of him going to Liverpool as well. So Captain KDB locked. Let's go. Absolutely, man. Captain KDB on the all the way. Let's just hope we nail it this time. We absolutely got burned last week. We absolutely got busted last week. Let's just hope this works out this time. And yeah, I mean, scared of Salah, scared of seeing that effective ownership in that will be out in some time. Scared of even seeing that lineup in about 15 minutes, because I think we will get that Chelsea lineup in about 15 minutes. Uh, but yeah, let's see. Pogba would be a world class. I mean, that's the thing, right? He has shown in shades that he will be, or he is a decent player. I mean, he is a baller. There have been shades of form of Paul Pogba. It's just that we have not been able to utilize him. I can't really question his mindset and his mentality a lot, because, of course, when he plays in the French team, there are a different set of players. He has a very different role. I think more than the difference in role, I think his role is very defined in that French team, right? And of course, the quality of players, you can argue that the quality of midfield is way better than what we have at United. I mean, way, way better than what we have at United. And yeah, I mean, I think Pep. I'm still very interested to see what kind of role he plays in a Pep team if he goes to Man City. I mean, would he play alongside Kevin De Bruyne in that sort of, and a Gundogan sort of a role where he makes those darting late runs in the box? Of course, he also has a lot of the ball. He control, because Pogba can spray passes. Something like maybe Gundogan, who doesn't do it very frequently or very often. Of course, Gundogan is also a great passer of the ball, and he also takes a lot of shots. Something like that can also be done by Pogba as well. So he probably can play that Gundogan role. Maybe not very deep in terms of the defense, because I think I don't see him playing that Rodri or that Fernandinho role. Fernandinho in his actual role, and not playing as a fullback, as what we saw this last week. Do you play FPL draft? I haven't. I'm not sure, to be very honest. I've heard from a lot of people it's really interesting and it's really a lot of fun. So maybe we'll give it a shot next week. Next season. Why I'm saying next week? Next season probably. We might even play UCL fantasy. I mean, I did enjoy a lot when I played Euro fantasy. And we did a lot of content on Euro fantasy. I think a lot. We got a lot of love. We got a lot of support when we were doing the Euro fantasy content. A lot of people tuned into our streams, and I think there was a lot of there were a lot of conversations and a lot of engagement. So I really liked that. I think, of course, if I'm assuming there'll be a World Cup fantasy game, and if there is, we'll also do World Cup fantasy. I'm not sure whether you guys will be playing that or not, but I think we will be creating. We will be definitely playing UCL fantasy. I'll create a league as well. If there is enough interest, we'll probably do maybe a couple of videos, maybe a video a week, especially when the UCL matches come in. But let's see. Spurs play Norwich in 38. Kane, Sulu. Why did I say Sulu? Kane, Son, and Kulu all in. I mean, yeah, that's a really good trio in that. As I said earlier in the stream, right? That game could be anything. I mean, it could be a tennis score of a 6-3, a set of a 6-3, right? Could be anything like that. So yeah, I mean, having a triple up on Spurs, it looks, because I think Norwich will go all out in that game. Last game in the Premier League, and they will want to have a good end to it. The Spurs might be in it in the top four, fight. So could be nervy in that regard, but I just feel there's too much quality in that Spurs team to not score 3 or 4 goals easily in that game. All the best, Nigel, to you as well. I hope you have a great game week. I hope you've been having decent weeks over the past few weeks, and you'll finish strongly. Will Ronaldo stay? There is, I mean, I'm not sure how much to believe that, but I think there are strong conversations around Ten Hag wanting to, wanting Ronaldo to stay at United because he sees him as in his plans, and I'm still very excited or interested to see how he's going to utilize Ronaldo in the way we play and the way we will play under Ten Hag, because he, of course, he doesn't. I mean, he's not suited to that gegenpress or that high pressing system which Ragniak wanted to play, which even a Ten Hag might want to play. So it'll be interesting to see how Ronaldo is used. Maybe he's used. Maybe he's not. He doesn't start every match. Of course, I don't think so. He'll start every match anyway. But I think he'll probably be a sort of a mentor to somebody who might come on in as a new number nine for the season, because I think there will be some transfers there for sure. I think we will definitely get a number nine. This If the recruitment goes right, I think we will have a number nine, a new number nine, maybe a young player this new season. Hardik, LFC fan here, United. I mean, yeah, we really need a lot of different players to make things work. But yeah, I mean, this was the problem last year as well. I think last year we were not able to see these many cracks because Maguire was not this bad. I mean, I think this year after the yeah, this year it's been so bad that after I think Euros, Maguire has his form has gone down so badly. I mean, it's been so bad. I mean, he's been making so many mistakes. Him being not a leader in defense, maybe was not exposed last season under Ole, has been definitely exposed this season. And I think because of so much pressure in the media, because of that price tag, and because of that comparison with Van Dijk, which still exists, which still happens in the British media, I think he's been really poor. So of course, we need somebody that can partner Varane, because I still feel if Varane can keep himself fit, if United can keep Varane fit, I think there is a good player in there. And of course, we've seen that in Madrid, and that could also happen at United. So yeah, we need somebody who can, partner Varane, and I think Varane can be that leader in defense. Ralph called out to the board. I read that as well, that he asked for a striker, and Vlahovic was one of the options. Then Diaz was one of the options. I'm forgetting one more name. I read one more name. I read a tweet on Twitter, and the board clearly said no. So I don't know how much. That's the thing that worries me, right? I'm not sure how much authority would Ten Hag have over the board, on over the club, in terms of what is this say going to be. When we talk about transfers, when we talk about recruitment, when we talk about backroom staff, of course there will be some involve. I mean, there will be major involvement of Ten Hag. Alvarez, yes, just saw that name, Alvarez, that who's going to City now. So there will be involvement. Of course, there'll be a heavy involvement of Ten Hag in terms of how we kind of start this rebuild. But I'm just not sure how much of that is going to be when it comes to negotiating with the board in terms of what he wants. So yeah, I think that'll be really interesting. Quite excited as a United fan, of course. Excited to see a lot of players leave. I mean, it's been frustrating. I know. I mean, of course, Liverpool have also seen that kind of a time, and of course, Klopp has come in and changed things for the club, and look at where they are right now. But that has also taken a sustained amount of years. The right recruitment, the right backroom staff, the right training. It's the entire club and the way the club functions and runs, right? It's just not one thing. So let's see. Let's see. I think it'll be interesting. Hopefully I'll be more proud of wearing this United shirt next season. This season it's been a struggle, very honestly. Watching United games has been frustrating. Hardik, love your content. Where are you put up? I'm in Bangalore, man. Of course, I'm from India, and I'm in Bangalore at the moment. Have been there for quite some time, and yeah, great guys. Any last words? Any last comments before I think we'll call it a day on the stream? It's been almost 3.5 hours, 3 hours 20 minutes, something like that. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, guys, if you've not done that so far. I'm not sure how far we are. I think we are very far in terms of getting to that 1,000 subscribers mark. Yeah, it's 986, still 14 to go. But yeah, anyways, we'll try to catch that up maybe through the videos and the content next week or in the next two couple of weeks. Great, guys. Thank you so much again. I hope you have a great week. Enjoy the football, enjoy all the matches. Thank you so much for tuning in again and giving me that much time of yours and patience as well. I hope you have a great game week. All the best. And I'll probably see you in Sainers soon. And we'll catch up again. Bye bye.